is? How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about The Wizard of Oz, the classic movie coming all the way back from the 19-somethings. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to talk about Judy Garland, dancing scarecrows, smack-talking lions, all the things. So if you want to see and hear what we have to say, sit back, relax, grab a snack, grab a beverage, and listen on in to The First Ones to Die.
Hey everyone, welcome to the First Ones to Die podcast. We are back at it another week, another round of us. My name is Jonathan. I'm here with Alex and Jerome. How are y'all doing? Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm so exhausted. I don't know, as we were saying earlier, I think it's the fall weather finally kicking in. Finally. Been waiting for it all October, and now my body just wants to go to sleep, cuddle under a bunch of blankets, and just be like done with the world. But I've been good. I've actually watched quite a few movies this week, which has been nice. I saw Heretic with Hugh Grant.
I did
Heresy.
Yeah, it actually turned out much more interesting than I thought it would be.
I hear it's good. I hear it's really good.
I actually enjoyed it a lot. It was I like the twist that they kind of give, where you think one character is going to survive, and compared to like another character. I'm trying not to give too much away, and they kind of give you a little switch on that, which is interesting, and how they played it and the game Hugh Grant's character was playing. I also saw Smile 2 as well.
Hey, I've also seen
That got me a couple times. That movie has some good jump scares.
They had some jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
I even thought that the special effects and overall just like the supernatural element of it was a little better than the first one.
It was. I will agree to that. I did hate because in this movie they do reveal what the demon looks like, and that's when they kind of not as much.
Yeah,
this was like
the whole ending of the first one. Well, not the whole ending.
No. This was like, it was a little more creepy. This is like straight up in front of like, because she's a pop star and she's singing and she's on stage, so it's got all these bright lights on it. You know, it's no hiding in the shadows, no like mysterious thing. It's straight up like reminded me of a bunch of meatballs kind of squished together. I hate in horror films. That's one of my biggest pet peeves in horror films, is when they reveal the monsters as the demons, the thing that's been lurking in the shadow. Because like when it comes to like supernatural monsters and things like that, it's hard to make a good one look scary with CGI. I've never really seen one. I'm just like, oh, that's a little more ridiculous than what I had, lurking in the back of my mind. It's a little more cartoonish because you also have that CGI movement where it's not very fluid, and just like, I'm like, great movie, but then all of a sudden the monster reveal, and it's like, oh, okay. But it was really good though. It got a lot of jump scares. It really had you questioning yourself what was real, what was like happening, because it played a lot of mind games with you, so it was really good. I also watched the new horror film with Dylan O'Brien, the
Cattle Lake.
That had a lot of interesting turns. It was really good. It got a little boring in the second act, because they were trying to entwine multiple stories together, but it didn't get fleshed out until the third act. And when the third act really caught up with yourself, and like all these puzzle pieces are falling into place, and you're like, oh my God, that all makes sense. This is everything that's that happened. And it, like, I don't want to spoil it at all, but it was actually really good, and I recommend people go to watching it. And it does have a sci-fi element to it, a particular sci-fi category that I absolutely love. So again, I don't want to ruin it for anybody. So I just encourage you all to go watch it. It is on Max. Also,
which, Alex, I will get your password.
I'll give it to you. Don't worry. Like I said, I use your Peacock for so much. Speaking of which, I've also watched The Happy Place with Reba on there. It was just,
oh, nice.
Don't know why I'm watching that, but I'm watching that. And also, there's a show, and I feel like you, Jerome, you especially like this show, The Floor. It's on Hulu. Have you watched it?
I haven't watched an episode, but one, I see all the TikToks, like people post the clips of the rounds, and two, the general manager at my job, he was like, "Oh, you gotta watch this show." Actually, he said it he said, "You've got." No, I'm not gonna do it. He has a British accent, but I was about to do the British accent, but I'm not feeling it right now. But he watches that, and he said it was good, so he recommended it as well.
Does he have a touch of ADHD? Because if you do, you're gonna love this show. It's it's like general knowledge trivia, but it's like constantly going. It's got Rob Lowe in it. They're on their second season, halfway through the second season. Me and my mom were trying to, because we got different tastes in shows. We were trying to figure out a show to watch, and we find game shows are pretty fun because we are like yelling at the answers. I don't know how, but we ran through the floor the first season, and it was just exponentially so good. It kept getting better, and it's like 81 people, have their niche like subjects and categories. Like you could be like, I think I know stocks really well, or somebody's like, I know school supplies. So it's really your category and what you think you know so great. And people challenge you against it. And there's like pictures flashing. So you kind of just yell out, yeah, that's a stapler. And it's so interesting to see what people fumble over because you're so anxious and you're like trying to answer the question. You're like, oh shit, I know what that is. So it's like really cool. In the second season, they got this like Rick James looking guy. And it's so funny. Like I was not prepared. He's got even like he's even got the hair and everything. And I'm like, sir, did you like purposely do that? Is that your like thing to get you noticed for the cameras?
When he walks up, he's just like, give it to me, baby.
I think like, yeah, I know some of them probably do something for Give It Goes. Like you got the hair and everything. Like, you know what? Respect. But yeah, it is such a good show. I cannot recommend it enough. I love it. I'm obsessed with it now. The 6th episode just came out it comes out every Saturday. So I suggest going to go watch it, especially if you got like ADHD. Beautiful show to watch. It's so much fun. So much fun. It tickles that right part of your brain. But
oh, nice.
How about you, Jerome? How you doing?
I'm good. Doing the same old. Nothing too crazy to report. Playing a lot of video games. I have also watched a lot of stuff since last we recorded. First of all, I finally got to watch The Substance. I really enjoyed it. Oh, no, Jonathan, don't you say nothing, all right? Alex said all her stuff. You didn't stop her at no point talking about some, don't spoil.
Because
don't spoil it. Yeah, exactly.
I don't have a history of spoiling stuff. Mind you, I do not have a history of spoiling stuff.
Because all the stuff Alex talked about, I've either watched or I'm probably not going to get to for a long time. The Substance,
how dare you? The floor is great. We'll die on that.
Like this? You gonna do your brother like this? That's how it is. I see how it is.
Again, also, I don't have a history. I have a history of forgetting things, but never spoiling
you
anything.
Just spoiled that the Smile 2 monster shows up. What are you
Apparently, he already showed up in the first one.
Who hasn't seen Smile 2 just now knows that the monster is in the back end of Smile 2. They didn't know that shit before they watched this.
Yeah. And you know what else? He looks like a meatball.
So it's all right.
Doesn't he look like a meatball? Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, there's one that looks like a meatball. So The Substance.
Anyway, The Substance was actually really good.
Who dies in The Substance, Jerome? Just
your appetite dies in The Substance because it's gross. But in a good way. I don't mind a good body horror movie if it like
better or worse than The Front Room. Like in terms of,
I'd watched this way before I watched The Front Room, at least because this one's like body horror, but it's like it's slow and it's not like constant. It's not a constant like, ew, look how gross this is. Like there is grossness for sure, but it's more like grossness in both like theory and in metaphor. Less so that like, and then it gets literal as the movie goes on, but it doesn't like from the beginning be like, yeah, listen, we're gonna do poop and throwing up and piss jokes the whole time of the movie. It's like, no, this is like, no, we're gonna gradually show you like some madness along with the grossness.
I'm pretty sure I accidentally saw a still of it on Twitter, so I'm kind of mad at myself for that. I'm not sure if it was from the movie. Someone just posted a still, and I'm pretty sure it was from the movie. But I'm still gonna watch it. Apparently, it's on Mubi, which
It's on
didn't know
Mubi.
what
You
that
can,
was.
if you have a 7-day trial. I watched it kind of for free with using the 7-day trial with Mubi on Amazon Prime. So if you haven't got had a Mubi subscription, go on his Amazon Prime. You can get it for free. Watch it for free, kind of.
Which I feel like people are talking about Mubi right now the same way people talked about Zoom. All of a sudden, it just showed up, and everybody was talking about it. Like,
yeah, well, it's
people
because
talking about Mubi like it's been
this
a
is
thing.
the movie, to be quite honest, from them that's like actually like the guy I think got like the most buzz, the most of like a marketing push. Because I was looking through, because like I said, there's a subscription, like a small subscription underneath the Amazon Prime subscription. I looked on there. I'm like, I don't know what half these movies are, fam, and most of these don't look interesting compared to the substance. Like,
I think it's
That's
mostly
fair.
like art house stuff.
yeah, it's very art
And
house
like
stuff.
independent films.
But the substance is really good. I think it's a great movie that's great commentary on Hollywood, but also beauty standards and body standards, and like self appreciation, self love, all those things, especially when it comes to the Hollywood world, the world of being a celebrity. So it's a very interesting movie. A lot of like big shout out to the prosthetics team for the movie, because a lot of it's practical effects. Even the stuff that's simple, there's a lot of nudity in the film, but if you're like, you can tell that it's like these are prosthetics. There's not their actual nude bodies, or at least not majority of what you're seeing is their actual nude body, which is cool. And also I love the kind of nod to Giallo a little bit with how it's shot and how it looks, and like the super saturated colors and everything. So it's good. I like the substance. If you get a chance to watch it and you don't mind body horror stuff that's similar to stuff like The Fly, for example, you'll enjoy this movie. Also saw like now we go from good to bad. Saw Joker 2. Still trying to process that movie, to be quite honest, because on one hand I've seen a mix of reviews. I've seen people who don't like it for the obvious reasons. If you watch it, but I've also seen people defend it too, for some interest, with some interesting takes on the movie and kind of its purpose, why it is the way it is. I can't say I don't see their point, the people who defend the movie and be like, no, it's brilliant, you just don't get it. I'm like, I see what you mean. For me personally, I feel like I'm in the middle of it. I don't think it's like trash. Some people are like, it's the worst movie of this year. I'm like, no, it's not the worst movie of this year, but it's definitely like not strong. Like, out of all, like, for it to be a sequel to a movie that was as good as Joker 1 was, as good of a story as that was, of a nice character story, this feels very like it's trying to subvert expectations, but in a way that feels very like dismissive of the first movie, if that makes sense. And that's kind of weird, to be quite honest, because I get the idea of it like being like, hey, like, I don't think you guys got the message I was going for with the first one, because so many people love the Joker as a character that they were so ready to be like, oh man, is this like gonna be, is like, very comic book of like, oh man, is this the Joker that's gonna exist in like Batman movies, or when is Batman gonna show up and then he's gonna fight the Joker, it's gonna be great. It's like, no, this is not meant. Joker 1 was never meant to be like a comic book Joker. It was meant to be like using the Joker as a vehicle to tell a story about mental health and lack of systems for those that need help with mental health. And so I guess in that way, this movie is trying to be like, all right, you didn't get it the first time, here, let's burn it all down and start over. But I don't know. I just don't feel like that was the right approach, to be quite honest. But I from what I hear, the dude who directed Joker 1 didn't want to make the sequel anyway, and I didn't want a sequel anyway. So no skin off my nose. I'm not offended. But to those that are, I get it. I get why they're upset having watched the movie. And then a couple shows ending and starting. First of all, Agatha All Along finished, wrapped up. One of the few Disney Plus shows to stick the landing, finally, from Marvel. It's pretty good. It's not like amazing or anything, but you know, depending on who you are, it might hit you in the feels a little bit. It didn't hit me in the feels, but it still is a pretty good ending. All things considered, I think it leads pretty well into season 2. And for once, I mean, granted, the Eternals is the first Marvel thing out of the Marvel Studios stuff that has like an LGBT character, and he is an unabashed LGBT character. Like Brian Tyree Henry plays Phastos, who has a husband. We see them kiss, we see them live their lives, have their kid, and all that stuff. But I'm sure a lot of people didn't remember the Eternals. So here with Agatha All Along, once again, we get some LGBT characters, and they're front and center. People love them. I think they're going to be cool characters to have going forward into the rest of the Marvel stuff going on in the movies and TV shows going forward. So that's going to be exciting. And overall, it was good. I can't complain. I had no expectations for this show and was thoroughly surprised to see how well it actually turned out and how much fun I had watching it. So great for them. Glad Agatha All Along proved me wrong because I was the one saying nobody's asking for this show, and now I'm the one being like, man, I can't wait for season 2. Can't wait to see what they do. So you never know.
Shut you up.
But of shows that I knew was going to be good and was good, and is arguably one of the best shows I feel like of all time, if not at least my lifetime, The Penguin. So good. Wrapped up this past Sunday at the time of this recording. So good. It's one of the best crime shows of all time. Like, take Batman and all the comic book stuff out of it. It's just good as a show, a crime show. If you love stuff like The Sopranos, if you love stuff like The Wire, you're going to love Penguin. It's so good. The performances are amazing. The way it all ties into the Batman movie that just came out 2 years ago, also phenomenal. Like, it's just a good goddamn show. So much. It's good. I can't. It's one of those things where it's like I just don't. I don't think I like, because, you know, it's like I feel like this is what it felt like to grow up when The Sopranos started, or grow, you know, watching The Sopranos, or grow up when The Wire or Breaking Bad, like all these shows that people could say are like the best shows of all time. This is what it feels like when it's like coming out as you're watching it. like it's not. Oh, I heard The Penguin's good, I'm gonna watch it when I get to it. It's like, no, it's coming out right now, and I get to enjoy every episode as it comes out and see like the surprises and be a part of the conversation with everybody who's talking about it and everything. And it's just phenomenal. It's a phenomenal show. It's way better than I even expected it to be coming off of The Penguin, and it's got me so amped up for the Batman 2 when that comes out. It's supposed to come out in 2026, I think. So I'm jazzed. I'm not jazzed about the fact that them saying that there's a potential that because this show did so well and got such good reviews that they might be doing a Joker show from the which, if for those who don't know, Barry Keoghan played the Joker in the Batman movie in like a very cameo role. He's not like a star or anything like that, but he is there. And people are saying he might get a show, and I'm like, don't do that. You don't gotta ruin it like that. Don't give the Joker his own. Joker's got enough things. He just had 2 movies. We don't need no Joker right now. Let Joker rest. He's in Arkham.
I get it, because they're like, oh, we gotta play it safe because Joker's like that character, the same way Batman and Superman are like those characters. But like, you see how the success is with all these other characters that nobody's ever featured. Like, look how amazing they're doing. And like, yeah, the Penguin's well known, but like, look what happens when you like make him his own. And then you're like, well, we should do the Joker. Why? Why though?
If anything, do a Black woman Joker. flipping on its head.
Why?
Just mess with it. You know what?
Just
I'd
because
love
why do we do anything?
That's true. I would love to see a black
there's
woman
1,000
Riddler.
more Batman villains before, you don't need to do any Joker, black or otherwise.
I would love to see, I don't know why. I would think a black woman Riddler would be fun.
See?
And I think I'm thinking more of like the Jim Carrey version with the sassy spandex.
You already got Riddler in this universe, all right? He's played by Paul Dano, world's creepiest actor. But yeah, and then last thing I've watched, it just started. Arcane season 2 started back up. First episode's really good. Next episode's coming out this upcoming Friday. Looks fantastic. It's just as good as last season.
Oh, I didn't know they were bringing.
Sorry,
Arcane
you mentioned
back.
Arcane, and I started falling asleep.
Jonathan, no, you didn't. You didn't watch the rest of it. You know nothing about Arcane.
Yeah, you know what?
You watched the first 20 minutes. I know because I just listened to that review.
Hopefully this time they got, new music for the arcade instead of just playing the same Imagine Dragons song.
Actually, they do. And also, y'all gonna stop disrespecting Arcane, because if y'all disrespect Arcane, you're disrespecting Barbara. All right, that's right. Cheryl Lee Randall is in the damn show.
Cheryl Lee Randall.
Cheryl Lee Randall.
Oh, I just started up Abbott again for the 4th season.
It's good.
It's so good. I don't know who's ever writing for Abbott need to write for more shows, because I'm having just so much fun. Tyreek and Gregory's relationship now is growing, and I'm loving their friendship so much.
But Cheryl Lee Ralph, she plays a character, like a major character in the show, and she also sings a song for the show. Actually, she did a whole music video type thing for it. It's an animated music video, so she's not in it, but but it's her character in it. It's like a whole music video dedicated to basically her character. It's great. So yeah, that's right. Respect Arcade. All right, if it's good enough for Cheryl Lee Ralph, it should be good enough for you. Also, I stand corrected. She just did the song. She's not playing the character, but she should. But anyway, yeah. So Arcane season 2, it's good. People are liking it so far. It's just as good as last season, in my opinion, so far. And then a few media news things, really quick. First of all, got a trailer for Skeleton Crew, a new Star Wars show that looks like Goonies meets Star Wars, about a group of kids who find a spaceship and get launched into space and have to go around the galaxy with Jude Law to find their way back home. It looks interesting. A lot of people are comparing it to Stranger Things meets Star Wars as well. I don't know what to expect from the show, to be quite honest. I really don't. But it looks like it might be some fun. It comes out December 3rd, 2024. So watch Skeleton Crew, I guess, if you got some time around the December Christmas season. We also got a teaser trailer for Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, supposedly the last Mission Impossible movie starring Tom Cruise,
which Angela Bassett is going to be part of. Yep,
Angela Bassett's going to be in it. She's all over the trailer, so she's I guess going to be a major role in Mission Impossible. Of course, all the other characters are coming back. Of course, Ving Rhames, Haley Atwell, Simon Pegg. Yep. So, it's going to be a fun time. I liked the last one. I thought Dead Reckoning was pretty cool. So I'm excited for Final Reckoning. And I actually this year just watched Mission Impossible 1 for the first time, because I'd never seen the first one. So it looks like it's going to be a wrap up. I've never seen a
Mission Impossible ever.
They're good. They're good movies. And then we got from Marvel and Disney separately, kind of, but more or less together, they're coming in 2025 stuff, with showing out like
they ain't done that already.
Nope. Well, the Disney one came out this week. The Marvel one came out, I think, like 2 weeks ago, but we didn't talk about it. So it's just showing off a lot of stuff. Main thing is being Daredevil, the new show coming out. People are super excited about the new Daredevil show. It looks good. It's got Punisher in it, played by John Bernthal. Looks fantastic. Can't wait for it. Also we got Ironheart coming, for those that the Riri Williams from Wakanda Forever. She's getting her own show. Looks cool. And also they showed off some animated projects, like a whole animated show that's about Wakanda, like through history in this universe, which looks really cool. The one project that's the most interesting because it's on the back end, it doesn't come out till December of 2025. Wonder Man, starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen. Wonder Man is a very interesting character because he's like an actor and also a superhero. And it looks like the movie or the show is going to be him going for the role of Wonder Man, but I don't know if he has superpowers. It's very weird. I don't know what's going on. They had like very minimal footage because they aren't done filming it yet, but it looks cool. It looks interesting. I'm excited for it. Of course, also they showed and then they also gave us some trailers from D23 Brazil of the Thunderbolts and Captain America 4. Which, good for Anthony Mackie getting his Captain America movie, despite the like headache that has been the multitudes of reshoots they've done for this movie because test audiences keep not liking this movie. So hopefully, I think they're done now. They're finishing up. They're in post-production. The movie comes out next year in February. So let's hope for Black History Month when we get our Black Captain America movie that it's good.
Well, if even if that news that test audiences are not liking it is coming out, you know that's going to affect how people see the movie when it actually does come out, and people are going to have a more negative view towards it when it does come out.
It's true, yeah. So
no matter how good it is, people are going to be like, "Oh, they didn't like this during the test run, so I shouldn't like it now."
Yeah, it's a rough go. I really hope people are really give it a chance, you know what I mean? Like that's my biggest thing. Give it a chance. You never know what it's gonna be until it's gonna be, you know? So and that's pretty much it. I mean, there's other stuff and things they announced. Of course, the Disney Plus one, they showed off things like The Bear season 4 is coming, Alien Earth, which looks interesting because an alien movie that takes place on Earth normally isn't my bag, but it could be fun. And other things. So we'll see how it goes. But that's so far the wrap up of things happening in 2025 for Marvel and Disney Plus. Well, the things that matter, at least to this podcast, in my opinion. But we'll see how it all goes. So there you go. That's the wrap up. Jonathan, how are you doing?
I am doing good. Like Alex, I also did see Heretic this weekend. And I feel like I have maybe similar views. I know we didn't really discuss it, but I feel like the beginning and middle, I was sold. Towards the end, I was like, this. First of all, don't go into this movie if you're like if you're at all questioning your religion, because it's like this. But secondly, I felt like there was a little bit of an agenda to the movie that I was like, I don't know. There was a clear stance that the movie was on, so I'm like, this is interesting. I still need to process it. That's how I felt
about Megalopolis, where I was like, I feel like this is much more of a discussion, but you're very firm on your stance on what you feel about the ideas of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Hugh Grant did a great job in the movie.
He was terrifying.
Yeah, very much so. I also like outside of movie or media, I met up with a friend that I hadn't seen in 10 years. We had initially, or at least almost 10 years, we had initially met on the set of Laggies when I was a background actor, and me and her and someone else, we were all background actors, and we kind of like found each other on this set, and that was the first set that I'd ever been on ever. It was the day after my first year, my freshman year of college, and or it was the day after the last day of my freshman year of college, and yeah, it was so much fun. And yeah, all three of us had moved to LA by now. So yeah, we got the chance to meet up, and it was really nice.
That's lovely.
Yeah, it was really nice. I wish I would have been able to watch a few more movies, but Jerome, you're not the only one with some media news, because
Nice.
if anyone's been hearing the casting that's been coming out about the Christopher Nolan movie, Christopher Nolan's next movie, it's obviously untitled as of right now, but some of the names that have been announced as cast members in his next film are oh, I am here. Oh, okay.
That was my bad.
It stopped.
I was trying to switch legs. Audience, when you see me, or people who are watching on YouTube, when you see me move up and down, it's because I got a bad back and I kind of move around a lot, and my headphones got caught in my chair. So that was my bad.
Oh.
But please continue.
So we have Matt Damon, a Christopher Nolan staple. We have Tom Holland. We have Zendaya. So we got the couple in there. We have Anne Hathaway, and just announced today, the day that we're recording this, Lupita Nyong'o is also going to be in the film as well. So stacked cast so far. I can only imagine that they're going to, announce more people soon.
Of course. And
That's
even if they
such a
don't, it don't matter,
younger-
because they'll all be in there.
They're going to pop up.
Yeah,
Well,
just like
I was like,
Oppenheimer.
that's such a young cast list so far, and then you have like Matt Damon. I don't mean to
Matt
call him
Damon.
like old, but yeah, in
Yeah,
categories
but
of like
Christopher
young.
Nolan, he must like Matt Damon because he's been in his last few movies, actually, between Interstellar, Oppenheimer.
Probably in another one.
There's another one in there somewhere. I can't think of right now, but he must like working with Matt Damon, which is cool. I mean, listen, if there's one director you want to have a good working relationship with, it'd probably be Christopher Nolan, because you're guaranteed an Oscar if you did. Like, almost, you know what I mean? You got to deliver the goods, of course. You got to give the performance, but you at least know that there's a chance the Oscar board will see your performance, like guaranteed.
And I actually saw that apparently the next Spider-Man and this Christopher Nolan movie are going to be released within like a week or two of one another. So you have
some buzz, bro.
And Zendaya. Tom Holland and Zendaya are going to be starring.
We don't know if she's going to be in the next.
She's going to be in it.
Here's why I say
You
that,
know
is
that.
because it's still in the
She's gonna be
air
in
whether
it.
or not on who's even making this next Spider-Man movie. Because there's a lot of rumors of Sony wanting to essentially take it back. That's why like the way Spider-Man Far From Home or No Way Home ends is where he's isolated and he's on his own, so that way Sony, if they want to take the character back, they can, and they don't have to worry about the rest of the Marvel universe because nobody knows who he is anymore, so he could do whatever he wants and without touching any of those characters from this point forward. So
they
it's
announced
like,
that
so
Tom
we don't
Holland's going to
know.
be in it.
Well, he has to be. He's Spider-Man.
With these superhero
He
rules,
don't
he
have a
doesn't have to be.
choice.
Yeah, he doesn't.
But they're
have
not
to
going to miss out on that star power of Tom
I mean,
Holland. And
no
Zendaya.
offense to Zendaya, but there's 1,000 other stars that can be in there with Tom Holland. It doesn't
But
have
Yeah,
if you
to.
but
have
it has to. Yeah.
If you have Tom Holland, and who's Tom Holland going to be with? That's like,
Well, Tom Holland is not the character. Spider-Man's the character. Spider-Man has had like tons of other love interests that aren't Mary Jane, including Black Cat, Gwen Stacy, that one cop chick that one time whose name
Yeah, but
Virginia
you
Woolf
know
or whatever.
nobody's
Like,
gonna
there's a lot
want
of
to
other
see.
characters.
Nobody's gonna want to see anybody but Tom Holland and Zendaya as a Spider-Man.
yeah,
couple.
what would be the reason for getting rid of Zendaya? It's not like she's fallen off or anything. She's literally at the top of her game. And you're given that character, you're given that casting as well.
No, because the story reason justifies her not being in there. Because if Mary Jane doesn't know him, she don't know him.
Yeah, but
That's
he
a
seems like
perfect
stalker.
reason to start the story over. Perfect. They just met. Awesome. And
No, because that undercuts the whole reason. Because remember, at the end of the movie, he tries to reconnect with her, but then he realizes if I reconnect with her, she's going to be a part of my Spider-Man world and get hurt. So I can't reconnect with her.
Yeah, but
That's
he's still like creeping around. He's still like watching them to make sure they're safe. He's always there.
I'm
in
just
the
saying
corner.
they have options, which I think is a nice place to be. Because creatively, we've never seen. Well, that's not true. Felicia's been in one Spider-Man movie, but she wasn't Black Cat at the time. We've never seen the Black Cat Spider-Man relationship. That'd be really cool to see. And if you want to make her another black chick, I don't know, do that. So then he's got options. He's got two black women after him as Spider-Man. I don't think anybody will be mad if you make Black Cat a character who I don't think her race really matters black. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to make Mary Jane black for no reason at all other than we wanted Zendaya in our movie, you can make Black Cat black and make her anybody else. I don't know. Get Coco Jones or something and make her Black Cat.
Where did this go?
I don't know. I'm reading facts about the Wizard of Oz now.
Also, Jonathan, this is your chance. You just like. And besides, Jonathan, I know exactly who they could get to replace Zendaya.
Keke Palmer.
Keke Palmer. You're queen. You know what I mean? Your muse. Get her, and she'll.
Well,
I
I told you there was that rumor months ago that Marvel's considering her for a role in something. So.
Never know.
I still think Zendaya is going to be involved in some way.
I agree.
We'll see. I mean, if she is, awesome. If she's not, I don't see an issue with that either. It's like, it's either or. You know what? That just means she has more time to bother Sam Levinson for that Euphoria season 3 that he refuses to do.
Well,
I think we all just need to move on from that.
A24 had to put out an announcement that said, y'all, we're serious. We're filming in January. I don't know where that rumor came from that we're not going to be filming in January, but we told y'all we're filming in January. We're filming in January. All right. So apparently they're filming in January.
I would love for a company statements just to be like, shut up. We're doing it. I've had enough of this. I have enough of all of you. No more Reddit for any of you. We're going to be filming, and I'm telling you we're filming. Okay? Already enough. Get off Reddit.
See,
enough.
I feel like that's what Marvel would do if I was, but that's just because I would be that petty to just be like, you know what? Y'all complain about stuff. You know what? The whole slate's canceled. Whole thing. And all the movies canceled. All the shows canceled. Nothing's getting made ever. How you like that? You like that? Huh? You like
That's
how that
how
feels?
you lose millions and millions of dollars in production companies.
Oh, please. They'll still like, no, we're still going to make it. All right. We're just going to tell them it's canceled, but then we're still going to make the product anyway. That way, like when it comes out, people will be like, oh, you said it was canceled. Now we're actually going to cancel it, but we wanted you to think so. We wanted to break your heart a little bit so that way, when it comes out, you can feel a little better about yourself. Like, oh my God, it's not true, y'all. It actually is coming out. It's like Christmas.
Well, joke's on you. I'm
like
always heartbroken. What were you going to say?
It's like when I turn on Netflix and I'm like, oh, dang, another season of The Circle or Love is Blind is over. And then a couple months later, new season? Oh, I'm in. It's like, when did they film this season? I don't know. How did they have the time to film this season? I don't know. Sometimes it's like that with these shows. It's like, how did you have... And sometimes, especially with the actors, I'm like, I just saw you in 5 other projects last month alone. How did you have time to film this entire series?
I saw that. I thought that
Nicole
was Dylan
Kidman.
O'Brien.
She's one of those people.
Yeah, Dylan O'Brien right now. He's like, every time I'm watching something, he's there. And I'm like, what the fuck are you? Like, this is all 2024 too. So it's like,
he's getting
what are you
work.
doing this? I like respect,
Been
but
busy. Although,
that was Sydney Sweeney last year. This year she ain't done much.
Oh,
last year.
Interrupting your time.
Avengers next year.
Sydney Sweeney. I watched that movie with
Madam Web.
No. That I did watch that. That was fucking awful. I regret it.
Oh, Anyone But You.
Anyone But You. Yeah. It actually wasn't half bad. It was not great. But it wasn't as bad as everybody was dunking on it to be. I actually
saw it on a
because
plane.
people just don't want to like Sydney Sweeney because they're like, she's the new it girl, and so a lot of people want to bully Sydney Sweeney. It's like, look, she's talented. She's a talented actress. I'm sorry you can't look like Sydney Sweeney, or you don't like how pretty she is, or all that stuff, because that's really what it is. It's jealousy. All right, they all want to be like Sydney Sweeney, and they want to be with Sydney Sweeney, and they know they can't, so they're gonna be angry about it and just come for her like she did something wrong. She's actually seems like she's a cool person, all right, and she's talented. She's good at what she does. Leave Sydney Sweeney alone.
So anyway, the movie was actually pretty entertaining, and I actually had a lot of fun with it. I watched it on the cruise with my mom because they give us like a limited amount of movies. I tried to watch Madam Web twice. Like I had put it on. I was like, I'm gonna watch it. Couldn't keep my focus. Tried again. Was like, this is terrible. And then I finally sat through a majority of it. I was like, everybody's acting is bad in this film. Just everybody's. And how far in this past was this supposed to be, or was it recent? Because it
2003.
It's supposed to be 2003.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, that lines up with it. Okay, time wise, I'm trying to think with Spider-Man and everything. I was like, wait a minute. I guess if Spider-Man's like 20 something now, it kind of works. But anyway,
yep.
What were you going on?
I was just gonna say also, I have coworkers who are big into Love Is Blind, and we were talking about it at like a company like lunch that we were having together for the department, and I was telling them, they were talking about, man, we just wish we had like Love Is Blind seasons that were like surprising, because they hated this most recent season. Everybody,
this past season, oh Jerome, you got me started. This past season. This past season, I thought it was entertaining, and I feel like a lot of people find it entertaining. This is the thing. This is what happens with Love Is Blind. Every year, everybody's like, this is the worst season of Love Is Blind. Everyone's here to be famous. No one here cares about being in an actual relationship. I hate this show. I'm never watching again. They're tuned back in 3 months later to the next season. Everyone does the same thing.
Well, my coworkers, they were very honest. They were like, we just hate the people. We feel like the cast this season sucks as people, as just general, just as people, as like, you know, that sort of thing.
that's been the thing this season. And it took place, all the singles were from DC. So we had a more melanated people this season, which was a disappointment because like,
so your coworkers are racist.
That's not what I was. That's not.
No,
what
it's
I was
more
saying.
like
But
it's more like they they let us down, because most of my coworkers are either people of color or in the LGBT department. So
don't defend them.
But yeah, there was
I just told them, listen, you know what Love Is Blind needs to do? Just go to Alaska. Love Is Blind Alaska.
Hey, maybe for one of the seasons they'll do that.
I mean, I just feel like in Alaska, most people are just happy to just be warm and inside. So they're often very nice. They're not as frigid, despite the location they're in.
Yeah, Alaska is kind of like a part of it's attached to Canada, so it has that energy. You know?
Yeah, that niceness. You know what I mean? Most of them are they're just happy to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, when the sun comes out, they're happy to they just enjoy things, because they don't get a lot of things. All right, they don't get warmth. All right, they don't get just like the beach weather like that. Okay, I mean, there are beaches in Alaska, but they can only enjoy them but for so long. All right, meanwhile, half the Love Is Blind cast who be in, I don't know, Love Is Blind Miami or whatever, they take it for granted. They don't know the struggle.
They have not had a Love Is Blind Miami yet, but
because it would be chaos. Miami sucks. All right, all those people are insane. Because it's still Florida.
Basically, this season, I'll just talk about like one of the couples.
No offense to my Floridians
broadly
out there who are fans of this podcast. I'm from the East Coast too, all right, and the South.
One of the couples, so Tyler and Ashley. Tyler goes through this whole process. They both go through this whole process. He goes through the pods. He proposes. Once they are in the real world, he drops the bomb. Rather, she finds out, or he drops the bomb somehow, that he has been a sperm donor for 3 children who are currently living and walking and breathing in this world. But it goes deeper than just that, because he didn't just donate the sperm. He is an active person in these kids' lives, and he neglected to tell Ashley, the woman who he proposed to, that before he proposed to her. And not only did they not only did that happen, like he was an active part of their lives, but they conceived naturally. So it was apparently it was a lesbian couple. He had a friend who had a wife or girlfriend, and they wanted to start a family, so he helped them start the family. But they didn't go through the natural process of donating sperm. No, they just hooked up twice or 3 times. And that's how it happened. And he neglected to tell his wife any of this.
You make a choice and just, I guess they figured it was cheaper. It's not a medical cost. So
I mean, there's always a turkey baster.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not surefire science. Sometimes you just want to do it the biblical way.
I'm gonna move on.
But he did not tell her any of this. The internet was in flames over all of this. But the worst part about it, Ashley has defended her man through and through. She is fighting for her life in these streets through and through since the show has aired. Which has made, at first people were feeling sorry for her, like, dang, she didn't know all this about him and blah blah blah. Now people are like, her last name is Bird. People are like, you a real bird, okay? Because you went through this process and you neglected all of these major red flags.
He is a donkey for not telling her about that whole situation. All right, if you're gonna go into a marriage, that's some information you should know. But at the same time, y'all ain't in their relationship like that. You don't know what's going on. You don't know how that discussion went when she did find out, and how they don't work. Clearly they've worked it out. So leave them alone. It's the same thing as Simone Biles. All right, look, let Simone love this man the way she won't love him. Leave her alone.
No, he's a fucking dumbass. Simone Biles could do better than her husband.
Says you. For all you know, he might be the only man she wants.
Then she needs to raise her standards.
Speaking of, sorry, at work, I'll just say this last thing and then we can start. But at my job, someone brought up the sexiest man alive and how it's going to be announced soon. And People Magazine put out their superlatives, sexiest, blah
Blanco
blah blah.
Bunny.
No. That's
Bunny?
He's just Benny Blanco. But the
Benny Blanco.
That he's just on the list. He's not the sexiest man alive. But I know TikTok was like, Benny Blanco's the sexiest man alive, but that's not true. He's just on the list or whatever. But she was looking at the list, and Simone Biles' husband was listed as sexiest supportive partners or something like that. And we were like, after all that,
I still don't remember that man's name.
You don't even know his name, yet you complain about him?
I just know his name is Jonathan because it's the same as mine.
Oh, poor
I don't know.
I mean you, not him.
But I think they're going to announce the sexiest man alive while we're on this podcast.
Are they going to give it to Pedro Pascal finally? Because they denied him last year, despite the fact that he should have had it last year.
Oh, yeah.
Despite all the stuff he was doing. Because really, it's just a popularity thing. They don't really, you know what I mean? So half of the people on the Sexiest Man Alive
if it was a popularity contest
multiple times a year.
If it was a popularity contest, Pedro Pascal would have won last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah, instead it was, who was it? Patrick Dempsey?
Yeah.
Which was for the 4th time or whatever.
Oh, it'll be announced in 1 hour and 16 minutes. There is an actual countdown.
You got the timer?
There's an actual count. That's insane. That's insane. Is that not insane? That feels insane to me.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. There was one other piece of news I wanted to mention, and we could go through it really fast before we get into the episode. But dang, New York Post. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Denzel Washington announces he's retiring after next batch of films, including Black Panther 3.
Yeah, so that was announced today. That was the big news today.
So Denzel Washington just apparently apparently he was on like the Australian Today show, and he just casually announced that Ryan Coogler is writing a role for him in the next Black Panther, when Black Panther 3 has not officially been announced by Marvel. We all know what's going to happen, but still.
Because they don't know what it is. And this is why I said they should have recast T'Challa. I love me some Chadwick Boseman. He's like a, South Carolinian hero to me. But clearly they have more story to tell with T'Challa, and now they don't put themselves in a position, because instead of just recasting someone else to be T'Challa so they could keep telling the story they were gonna tell with Chadwick Boseman and it would flow better, now it's all over the place because they don't know who's gonna be the next Black Panther, because not everybody was feeling Shuri, but also they've put this like whole other thing going on with like possibly the son of T'Challa. And it's like, but he's too young. So how do you make him the Black Panther of the current day without doing something stupid? Like, that makes no sense for him to be aged up. Like, how does it all work? Or without making him Black Panther, baby edition. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious to see how they pull themselves out of this one.
Or they could just make Denzel Washington Black Panther and call it
an old man. Black Panther Senior Edition. I don't know. Could be fun. Yeah. Also, I'm looking at this I'm looking at all the winners of the Sexiest Man Alive or whatever. Do you know Nick Nolte one year won Sexiest Man Alive?
You said year one, the first one?
No, not the first one. No, but Nick Nolte was one.
Wait, I'm trying to picture Nick Nolte in my head.
Well, it's young Nick Nolte, not Nick Nolte as he is now. Now he's an old man. Well, he's been around a minute.
No, I still don't see it.
I think he's still acting. I don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't either. But apparently, there he is on People Magazine, Sexiest Man Alive in 1992.
Oh, they put glasses on him to make him appear softer.
Right. He still looks kind of old there.
I'm trying to find the first one. Who's the first? This dude.
I don't even.
Harry Hamlin.
Oh, that's a young Harry. Wow.
That's a jaw, man. That's a man's jaw right there. Also, we also got John F. Kennedy Jr.
John F. Kennedy Jr.
Sexiest Man Alive, 1988. That's interesting. Mark Harmon? Interesting. Mel Gibson, of course, that makes sense. Back in the 80s. Yeah. Was he the first?
Mel Gibson?
That's 1985.
Oh, the inaugural. Yeah, it says inaugural.
Yeah, first Sexiest Man Alive on People Magazine. That's crazy.
What was the first person of color?
First person of color is, I think, Denzel Washington. Yep, Denzel Washington.
Okay.
In 1996. Brad Pitt's won it like 3 times. And Johnny Depp also, and I think Tom Cruise. I think they've won multiple.
Wait,
times.
why is it 2 people? Why is it?
I think this is
sexiest
just,
couple
just
alive.
Sexiest couple alive. I guess they were trying to give it away to
why they have to choose a paparazzi shot? Like, they couldn't get him for a photo shoot?
I guess not.
I think
also,
that's when they realized.
Ford in 1998, Sexiest Man Alive.
Wow, that's a good photo.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good photo. Richard Gere won it again by himself. He was like, "Man, screw Cindy Crawford. I want my goddamn cover, goddamn."
Wait, did they get divorced by then? Are they still?
I guess.
I think they were probably divorced by then.
Brad Pitt won it again in 2000. Then we got Pierce Brosnan, of course. Ben Affleck won it 2002.
That is a headshot.
That is a headshot, definitely. That's like SAG-AFTRA eligible picture. Plus, what his mom thinks of J-Lo. I wonder what she thinks now. Now that they're divorced for the second time.
I thought they technically only divorced once. They were engaged.
They got back together most recently, and then divorced again most recently.
Well, I know. I was like,
were they married the first time?
No, they were engaged.
They were engaged the first time.
They were engaged, broke up, got together, broke up, married. they're now divorcing.
Yep, Johnny Depp, Jude Law, young Jude Law, look at him.
Yeah.
His little swoop.
Wow.
And a plus, Usher, Johnny Depp, Brad Pitt, and Matthew Fox. I guess runner-ups who didn't make it.
I guess around
Usher
like
was the
2004, we're like, here are the sexiest men, but here's the sexiest man.
Oh,
Matthew
Jake Gyllenhaal
finally won
was the runner-up.
2005. Yeah.
And apparently
then,
Oprah.
George Clooney got it again. Patrick was the runner-up, I guess. So I guess he finally got... I thought he won it multiple times.
Oh, look, he did it the same year. Look, he was another runner-up.
Yep, runner-up again in 2007. Hugh Jackman, of course. I remember this issue, mostly because it was in the Deadpool movie.
Okay, Zac Efron was a runner-up, and Brad Pitt.
Makes sense. You know, this was what, 2008? Yeah, definitely. Johnny Depp again. Robert Pattinson coming behind him. Plus, best chess. Vampires to Die For. Ryan and Brad.
What kind of title is that?
Then we got, and of course, Ryan was like, look, goddammit, I want my redemption. So next year, 2010, Ryan Reynolds. And again,
that is
another
not
headshot.
A good picture.
That's not a good picture. He looks so photoshopped. Like,
I know he looks uncomfortable in that.
He looks very uncomfortable.
But my thing is that they're never consistent with the list. They all look uncomfortable. My problem is they're never consistent with the list because it's like 125 men, 110 sexiest men. Now it's the hottest ever 25 years of sexy.
Conan O'Brien was on the list,
like 25 men in there probably.
With the beard. Look at him. You know, then we had Bradley Cooper, which I'm surprised it took that long for Bradley Cooper to get on the list, till 2011. And then,
that's when he really got on the map.
Yeah, that was a really time.
And then Channing Tatum in 2012, which is like, this looks like a boy. This looks like people's trying to rebrand themselves completely. Because this looks like a completely different magazine from
that's like
a year prior. And also, Justice and Selena. Oh my gosh, they're totally over. No!
That does not look
like 186
a
men we love. 186 men we love. I hate it.
Yeah, they do change the number every single year.
I hate it.
Every year. Then Adam Levine, of course.
Adam Levine. That
cool,
was
confident,
like the
seductive.
Voice.
Adam Levine.
Why do none of them have the same body to their head?
I don't know.
It looks like it's heavily edited. These all look like they're like heavily edited.
Chris Hemsworth got his redemption because he was on the plus Timberlake, Hemsworth, Jackman, 119 gorgeous memory level.
So who was on the most recent one? Who was on the picture? Yeah, I wonder there because I think it feels like it.
Yeah, it is Idris Elba the next year. Oh no,
next year was David Beckham actually, which makes sense.
I know Idris Elba was one of the years.
He was not for a while though, because the next would be The Rock, who
144.
Looks like, this is the softest picture of The Rock I have ever seen in my life. That's not to be an insult, because that man is he's very strong. He's clearly like skilled, but like, you know, at lifting weights and getting in great shape. But it's just this does not fit him. I don't like this picture of Dwayne.
Why does it look like he posed so he could hold the title?
Right. And then I love that sexiest man alive in the corner. True crime, a serial killer in South Carolina. Although here it is, he's smart, and sculpted. That's right. Then next year, Blake Shelton.
Oh yeah, this was a controversial one. I remember.
Did he get married to Gwen at that time? It's like Gwen and I couldn't be more different, but nothing's ever worked better. Okay, so yeah, him and Gwen Stefani had gotten together by this point. I remember that was big news too when they got together.
I think I remember an SNL skit. I remember an SNL skit from that time.
And then finally, Idris Elba. Mind you, you know how none of us have noticed that this is now the second black man to finally get the damn cover.
But then I noticed, like, after that, I think there are a few more.
They
were like, more. Oh, we gotta up the POC.
Hold on.
There are no Latinos.
179.
They think it's 179. It's bothering me. No, because it's diverse as long as it's white and black people.
Well,
that's why
next year, John Legend. They're trying to make up for the black quota now.
He gets 2 covers.
He gets 2 covers. You know, they were like, this one isn't sexy enough. Jonathan, get in the pool.
165. I will just be pointing out the numbers.
Yep. And then in 2020, Michael B. Jordan, of course.
I told you they were trying to make up for the quota.
They really were, because they were like black men in a row. Like, we trying to look, we'll make it up now. All right, we're bad. My bad. All right, look, we'll fix it. We'll fix it now. And then back to white dudes, Paul Rudd, of course. A marvel of a man. You're welcome. Hashtag crush for life. This is a lot more streamlined, though. I like this cover. This actually is the best cover on, like, to me so far, arguably, because it just looks aesthetically like the most put together. There's no extra shit. There's no like headlines that look weird.
It looks kind of like Christmassy to me.
It does.
Yeah.
It's because the colors, the red here and then the green.
Not only that, it's the font they use for Paul Rudd is often the font you see for like Christmas magazines.
Mm-hmm. And then 2022, we got Chris Evans, also, of course. The universe has spoken, apparently, and they chose Chris Evans. I don't know why he looks so lean, though. I feel like he was a lot more muscular than this in 2022. Maybe he lost weight for the photo shoot.
Oh, maybe.
And also, Alex, 105 men. So there you go.
I hate it.
And of course, we all know last year was Patrick Dempsey, who I thought he had won it a couple times. No, this was his first time winning Sexiest Man Alive.
He wasn't in anything active, right? That like,
he
Thanksgiving.
Well, yes, that. I think he was in something else as well at that time.
I feel like being in Thanksgiving should have really just like trumped his chances.
They said daring, dreamy, and definitely worth the wait. You know what this might be though? Much like the Oscars, this might be body of
It's
work.
like an honorary.
Yeah, because Patrick Dempsey has been like the heartthrob guy for like decades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hell, George Clooney got it twice. At this point, like...
Right. Why didn't they just give Patrick Dempsey one of the years Brad Pitt got it or George Clooney?
Right? Well, that last year the other year Brad Pitt got it is because he was in... Probably because he was in Fight Club. And listen, like Brad Pitt in Fight Club, that's like prime body. Like all the women watch Fight Club. They don't even like that movie. They just wanted to see Brad Pitt with the shirt off, I'm sure. During that time. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't women that don't like Fight Club, but I'm sure all women who have watched Fight Club love Brad Pitt in that movie.
Who we got this year? Because the winner's about to be announced.
They don't tell you the choices.
It's probably good. Well, I think people have been saying it's either because we looked this up as well. People were saying it's either going to be Pedro Pascal, Manny Jacinto, because he had a big year with the Acolyte.
I mean, he did look good and like all the ladies were talking about him from the Acolyte.
Or
these are the People's Choice
Glenn
Awards
Powell. People were saying Glenn Powell too.
Yeah, there he is, and Sexiest Summer Action Star.
Sometimes I feel like it's gonna be Glenn Powell
or Jonathan Bailey.
I feel like it's gonna be
or
Glenn
Jonathan
Powell
Bailey
as well,
or Jonathan Bailey.
It could be Jeremy Allen White.
Oh yeah, or Jeremy. Yeah, that was another one. That was.
He's been doing big things, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah.
No, not
Sexiest new heartthrob. Jacob Elordi was who the people voted for, but probably Manny Jacinto is who people would choose more than likely. So, you know, there's options. Sexiest podcast host, the Kelsey brothers. That's great. Good for them.
That's a choice.
I mean, I like the Kelsey brothers. They're actually really cool dudes. And good football players, both of them. So we'll see. Come tomorrow at the time of this recording, tomorrow morning, we'll find out who the Sexiest Man Alive of 2024 is.
We will.
That was a nice diversion from what we came here to do.
Actually, if
we were
still
so
keep
close.
Going for another hour, we'll probably know by the end of this podcast.
Right. I mean, y'all seen The Wizard of Oz, right? So, but
yeah, you all know the deal with The Wizard of Oz. It's not like we're delaying the inevitable. You already know how this story goes. Everybody does. But anyway, speaking of magical people, The Wizard of Oz.
I need more water. Y'all are nonsense.
Speaking of sexy people, that Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, right? You know what I mean? Listen, she had it going on.
I mean, her dress goes all the way to the floor.
Listen,
right?
Auntie M, she's got it going on, all right?
She's got those hands that can milk a cow. I don't know what I'm saying. That was...
The Wizard of Oz, 1939. It's a movie.
So basically, folks, we wanted we wanted to watch this movie in celebration of a movie that's coming out pretty soon, Wicked, which it's based off of the musical, which is based off of the book. And then we have, of course, The Wizard of Oz, based in the same universe with some of the same characters, and obviously a classic film. One of the most well-known, greatest uh films in at least American cinema history.
Yep, iconic.
Which The Wizard of Oz was based off a book series from the L. Frank Baum's from the 1900s children's fantasy novel, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
Which I appreciated that at the beginning that they had it was like, for 40 years this has been enjoyed by people young and old, or whatever they said. You don't get that with adaptations, really. You don't get that appreciation for the source material.
Yeah. It was a nice acknowledgement of the book prior and probably the influence it had over the kids, or the wonderment of it. Because back then it was probably very rare to have a child's book adapted into a film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say, since it was done back in 1939, that we're probably just going to jump into our thoughts about The Wizard of Oz.
We don't have to go through
We don't have to go through the whole spoilers or like anything. So
no, we're just going to dive on it.
If you are concerned about spoilers for The Wizard of Oz,
of all movies,
I don't know what to tell you.
First of all, that means you're too young for this podcast, because that means you're a child and you've never seen it. That's the only way.
Especially after the topic we just had about sexiest men. You should not be on this podcast. Although if you came this far.
Right. Jerome, do you have a synopsis and cast for us?
I sure do. So first off, the synopsis is: young Dorothy Gale and her dog Toto are swept away by a tornado from their Kansas farm to the magical land of Oz and embark on a quest with 3 new friends to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz, who can return her to her home and fulfill the others' wishes. This is directed by Victor Fleming and King Vidor, written by Noel Langley, Florence Ryerson, and Edgar Allan Wolfe, and stars Judy Garland, Frank Morgan, Ray Bolger, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I'm sorry, Jack Haley, Billy Burke, Margaret Hamilton, and so many others. And of course, Terry the dog as Toto. Yeah. So since we're just diving on in, I think the first place to start is that I was watching this as an adult. Oz is tripping and Glinda sucks.
Glinda's a hell of a manipulator.
The fact, because the movie starts, of course, in Kansas, and we'll get to the Kansas parts. But when she gets to Oz, the Wicked Witch of the East is crushed by the house, of course. Wicked Witch of the West shows up, and she's like, "Oh hell no! Now they done killed my sister, dog!" Like she's just pissed off, and they're like, Glinda's like, "Well, hey, listen, like you want proof that she's dead? Just check out the shoes." And the Wicked Witch of the West makes her way over there to grab the shoes that belong to her family, her sister, and then the shoes just disappear and appear on Dorothy's feet. And before Dorothy can say anything, the Wicked Witch of the West is like, "Give me the slippers." And Glinda's like, "No, you can't get them slippers." And I'm like, "Glinda, shut up." Let Dorothy speak. She don't know where she at. She might get jacked up by this witch right now. The bitch appeared using smoke and fire.
Which I have to say, right? Were you gonna applaud the effects?
I was gonna applaud the effects. I'm like, that fire, but the smoke was pretty amazing done.
That was good.
That was when stuff like that in the movie happened, I'm trying to figure out in my mind how they did it back in 1939 when they didn't have CGI. They
Well, I
couldn't do
saw
that kind of stuff.
the Wicked Witch. I could see, like, I saw her
A
drop. So
trap
I think they
door.
had a trap door in that. That's why
Wow.
that's why when she was like, "I'll get you," and then she leaves and goes to the exact same spot. It's just like, it's like, yeah, because it's like, look, Margaret, if you don't make this spot, you will not move. Okay, we need you to hit this exact position. So we
I
can
wonder
drop.
how many times they had to redo it because she was like just a centimeter off, so like one leg would go through, and then she'd be like, "Oh shit!"
Like
and just get
accidentally
like stuck.
fall. Like
Yeah,
They
Olivia
I
do a
wonder.
whole
Rodrigo
split.
did.
It's just
Yeah,
like, this is Margaret talking. This ain't the Wicked Witch anymore. Y'all get me out of hell.
like
Help
yeah,
me.
how many times like one leg all of a sudden you see one leg still up in the air? She's like, "God damn it, my shoe got caught," or something like that.
But this like speaking of the behind the scenes of this production, this movie had a lot of like behind the scenes
Oh yeah, there's a
kind
lot
of
of
like
drama.
production drama. Yeah. There
Mhm.
and I've heard about a lot of it throughout the years and um uh
The Judy
in
Garland
20
stuff I had heard of before, like all
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what
they
she
put
went
yeah,
Julie
through
Garland
doing
through
making
a
the
lot.
movie.
they did not feed her. She was allowed to eat like nuts and cigarettes.
They fed
They
her
gave
Um
her
certain pills to keep
cocaine.
her weight down,
They gave
and
her
then
yeah.
cocaine to wake up. Yeah,
that she had
Mhm.
to wear binders around her chest because she was a grown woman when she did this movie, playing a
Mhm.
child. Uh, and so they put binders around her so she wouldn't, her breast wouldn't come through the dress. So it's like they did a
Yeah.
lot, like a port, like which I think this movie is the reason why Judy Garland had a lot of issues, like mental health issues and things like that, going
oh yeah.
forward into the rest of her career after this movie.
She also dealt
Mhm.
with a lot of sexual harassment from a lot of the cast as well as the crew on set
Hmm.
too. Unfortunately,
Yeah. I can imagine because she was especially in the scenes that she's like mainly in, she's the only woman in the scene for a lot of the movie. Um, so I can imagine that came with that.
with the issues, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely.
Um, I back in 2020, literally a couple weeks before everything shut down for COVID, me and my mom came to LA and we went on the Sony tour. And they told us they showed us some of the stages where the Wizard of Oz was filmed. And then our hotel, we didn't realize this until after, but the hotel that we stayed at, the Culver City Hotel, that's where a lot of the cast stayed at, and it's a very historic hotel. They've remodeled it and everything since then, but that's kind of like their claim to fame. A lot of the cast stayed at that hotel while they were filming because Sony is like right down the street from
Yeah.
that hotel.
Oh, that's cool.
Also, real quick, just to go back to the Wicked Witch's exit, we were kind of right. It wasn't just a hole; it was an elevator. It says the concealed elevator was installed to lower her below stage level as fire and smoke erupted to dramatize and conceal her exit. The first take ran well, but on the second take, the burst of fire came too soon. The flames set fire to her green copper-based face paint,
I actually
causing
heard that.
third-degree burns to her hands and face. She spent 3 months recuperating before returning to work. Her green makeup had usually been removed with acetone due to its toxic copper content. Because of Hamilton's burns, makeup artist Jack Young removed the makeup with alcohol to prevent infection.
I remember that. It was also with the same with the Tin Man and the lead paint. It ended up making the other actor so sick. They're like, all right, well, he can't be the Tin
Yeah,
Man
they had
anymore.
a different actor for the Tin Man, and he reacted to that paint so badly that they had to replace him.
Because it was just
Mhm.
straight lead paint.
Mhm.
But it also makes sense of when she dies in the end, spoiler, how she dies in the end when she gets hit with the water, how she slowly goes downward. It actually makes a lot of sense. And it actually does create that, good steady, like slow thing instead of her
Yeah,
just
descent.
falling into, yeah.
Here's a question for you guys. Uh, is Do you think that Dorothy is a bad pet owner? Because
She
all of this really starts, like a lot of the conflict of this starts because Toto bites what's her name, not is it Miss Gulch. Bites Miss
Mhm.
Gulch. And while don't get me wrong, Miss Gulch is tripping out here talking like the fact that she didn't use the word I want to take your dog away. So she's like, no, I want to take the dog down to City Hall so they can destroy it. I'm like, destroy, god damn, destroy it. Well, you want to decimate this dog? Like, Jesus Christ.
Where I put them.
But at the same time, like Dorothy comes in. It's not like she's like, it's only the first time. She's like, no, he does that sometimes, right? It's just what dogs do. I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean he does this? He just be biting people?
She said he only does it like once or twice a week, I think is what she said. Which is but I think she has good intentions with her dog ownership. Like she clearly loves the dog, she cares for the dog, but she might need a couple lessons on how to properly take care of a dog, and more importantly, how to properly make sure the dog is not a bother to others. But Miss Gulch, sorry.
No, I was gonna say I disagree with you guys, or disagree with you, because like growing up close to Indiana, I used to go on the farm. Well, I feel like your mind. I can feel your mind. I can hear your little commentary. I can hear your little commentary up there.
But I do think, I'm just like, look, like if
see?
the dog be out here biting people, at least get a leash. You just be letting the dog walk around all free.
No, that's what I was gonna say. This is like the Midwest open range farmland shit. Ever go to Indiana? The animals just run wild down there. The cats and the dogs, all free range. They bite you. They just bite you.
This weekend, I was driving through downtown, and a lot of stuff happens in downtown LA, especially at night. And this dog runs in the middle of the street, and his owner is trying to catch after him. I think the man was homeless. His owner is trying to catch after him. And then when he finally catches up to, like, literally the dog is stopping traffic. Like there are cars that are going both ways, and the dog is zigzagging through both lanes of the street. The owner finally catches up with the dog, or rather the dog comes over to the owner, and he has a leash in his hand, and he doesn't even put it on the dog. He's just like, hey, go over there. He's not even putting the leash on the dog when the dog got hit by like 5 or 6 cars. So
see, I think city life absolutely different. Leash your dogs, but like the countryside life, nobody's gonna leash their dogs. I'm gonna do that. You just like you come onto my property and try to take my dog, I'm gonna shoot you. And you know what? Reasonable. If anybody tries to take Cheddar, I'm throwing hands. Very easily. I do not care if he made you bleed. That is my son, and you will die. So I think Dorothy just had a normal farm dog. I think that was it. It had nothing to do with her. She was supposed to be what, 14? Is Dorothy?
14, something like that.
Something like that.
She was a child. She wasn't the one really supposed to be raising that dog. It was everybody else on the farm.
Listen, it's like, no, I'm sure her parents gave her the same speech my parents gave me, which is like, if I was to get you a dog, that's your responsibility because that's your dog. All right. I ain't like you the one who wanted the damn thing. So now you got one. All right. So that means you're going to feed them, you're going to take care of them, you're going to wash them, all the things that comes with training. Training is a part of that. So this is on Dorothy. It ain't on Auntie M and Uncle Henry, okay? They got plenty to do on the damn farm. They don't need to be worried about this dog also.
Then they should be the ones taking it out. Old Yeller, that shit.
Well, the dog doesn't have rabies.
If the dog ain't behaving and it's farm life, that's tend to what they do. I know it sounds awful, and I don't agree with it.
If the dog is dying or it has rabies or it's like sick or something like that, where it could possibly like infect the other animals, they don't just put the dog down if it's misbehaving.
You'd actually be disturbingly surprised.
It's a good thing I have headphones on right now because Gibson would be shook if he heard this conversation right now.
Look, I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying you'd be horrifyingly surprised, especially what I've learned in Indiana. Why I don't live in bumpkin countries. I can't do that shit. All right, I'm too soft. Look at my cat. Look at that. Yeah, look at this man. Look at how much I give him. He has a bed on my bed. All right, I'm not cold enough to be that way to my animals.
Now I will say, thinking of you talking about effects and things. Easily my favorite effect is the Scarecrow's costume it looks so good. It still holds up very much to this day when you look at it. Like his face really does look like he has like a like burlap sack bag for a face. And it's just looks so solid. It looks really good. And then of course also just like it helps that the actor which this is Ray
Oh,
Bolger.
Ray, yeah, that's right.
He does a great job with the motion of him too, like making the Scarecrow's movement just look so fluid. And we talked about this a little bit when we were talking about when we did our review of The Wiz a couple of years back, about how Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow, he does a great job like kind of capturing the clumsiness of the Scarecrow, but still like feeling fluid and feeling like just full of motion. Here, same thing. Like he does a great job of capturing the motion of the Scarecrow, where he's so loose, he's so like vibrant, he's capable. It's just really good. It's a really great performance. Although the whole movie, I was like, I feel like the Scarecrow is sick of everybody's shit because he's the smartest one of the group. And he's just like, I'm so sick of this shit, especially the lion. Every time the lion starts to go, he's just like, man, if you don't man your ass up, like, I'm so tired.
Because it wasn't even the Tin Man grabbing him. It was the Scarecrow turning around, be like, stop it, come on, man. We're halfway there, knock it off.
Which I have a little bit of beef with Ray Bolger because not real beef. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, because I remember reading this about him, and I just looked it up again. Ray Bolger, who played the Scarecrow in the 1939 film The Wizard of Oz, did not think highly of The Wiz, stating The Wiz is overblown and will never have the universal appeal that the classic MGM musical has obtained. He didn't have to say all that. Even
He's just mad because he can't dance like Michael Jackson.
He was too old by then. They didn't ask him to come back.
Right.
The lion annoyed me.
Fun fact: Ray Bolger was supposed to play the Tin Man.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
I was thinking that. I was like,
yeah. But he wanted to play the Scarecrow really bad because he loved the dude who did it on stage, as the Scarecrow, and so.
Well, he should be happy he didn't play the Tin Man because.
I mean, that's true.
He would have got heavy lead poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, he fell into the role he should have gotten for that movie. But I hated the lion. He was so annoying. At a certain point, they should have just let him run off. Because he kept trying to run, run in high. It's like eventually it's just let him go. Just let him go.
I mean, I thought the lion was funny. Yeah, it was funny to just see them both be like, look, if you don't get your ass up, especially
they were really manhandling that lion.
For real, the Scarecrow especially kept making me laugh because when they fight the guards or whatever, and the guards ripped the Scarecrow apart, and the Tin Man got the nerve to walk up. What happened to you? What type of dumbass question is that? You look at me. They ripped my goddamn legs off. They took my chest up and threw it over there. All they did to you was take your axe and stuff. They ripped me apart. Don't ask me that. I don't smack the shit out of you. Hand me my arms.
They did.
I want the Scarecrow to have so much attitude the whole movie.
He deserved it. Out of all the characters, he genuinely deserved the one to be like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? I was just trying to scare crows. But like, all y'all doing this nonsense here? No.
Especially the Tin Man, they're both useless because it's like if the lion ain't running away, the Scarecrow Tin Man starts crying and rusts himself to where he can't move. So the Scarecrow's the only useful one of the team because he's the only one who's got it together.
If I was a Scarecrow, I would have just picked up my legs and picked up my arms and be like, I'm gone, I'm out. You all figured this out clearly.
I was reading into the story of the Tin Man and the replacement, and Buddy Epson was the original Tin Man, and the studio apparently didn't take his condition seriously until he was hospitalized, and then they were like, oh, this is serious now. Yeah. And then filming halted while they looked for a replacement, and Jack Haley, while filming, assumed that he had just been fired. Like apparently nobody said like, hey, this dude, the makeup you wearing right now? No. This dude. But they like changed the makeup and everything. All footage of him as a Tin Man had been scrapped, and they only have like picture. If you look on the Wikipedia article, there's like a picture
Yeah,
of
there's
him.
one test photo of him as the
Hmm.
Tin Man.
But funny enough, I guess not funny, but like interestingly enough, he was the longest living like cast member out of everybody. He lived until like 2003.
Mm.
So
Wow.
yeah, even though
I
he,
feel
got
like
hospitalized and everything.
that's out of spite. Like, I got lead poisoning for this movie. I was hospital. Nobody believed me. I got hospitalized. And then without telling me, y'all scrapped my part. It's like, no, I'm outliving all of y'all now. So nobody forgets what happens to me. You can't wait till I'm dead and change the narrative. No, no. I will make sure I live and that narrative lives
Right.
while you all die first.
Right. And apparently you can still hear his vocals in the movie because they only re-recorded If I Only Had a Heart and solo lines during If I Only Had the Nerve. Apparently
Hmm.
the Tin Man had another song called The Jitterbug. They scrapped that, but Epson's voice can still be heard in the remaining songs featuring the Tin Man in group vocals.
Interesting.
That's some Zac Efron High School Musical type stuff.
I will say also, I like, like I mean I'm like the effects were rough for sure. And they didn't all work, but in regards to how
Also
it
1939.
affected the actors, I mean to say,
Wow.
but
Right.
a lot of it still looks really good. The monkeys look fantastic. The flying monkeys. The Wicked Witch of the West costume looks great. Even the carol, even all the the cast. Scarecrow, Lion, Tin Man. Their costumes look fantastic, and they're timeless in design. I have to say that. Like, there's no those designs are still used to this day when people dress up in costume as those characters. Um, and it's because they're just like they're iconic. Like, they, especially the Tin Man. I feel like the Tin Man is probably the most iconic of the costumes. Next to Dorothy's, I think Dorothy is the most iconic, but next to her is definitely the Tin Man and the Wicked Witch of the West. And it's just like incredible to see how their costumes have evolved over time, how people have made different versions of them, but they always kind of come back to those original designs from the movie. And it's because they look so good. They really committed in regards to like the effects and the costuming and the detailing uh, for that time period. But also the sets look pretty good too. I mean, they definitely look like old school MGM sets. They're only but so big.
Yeah,
You can
you could
only
you
use
could
but
tell
so
they're
much
on a
space.
studio
You
in a
can see
Right.
soundstage.
the back wall.
Yeah,
You can tell the
exactly.
backdrop is painted
Mm-hmm.
to make it look like it's hills and fields and
Yeah.
stuff.
The
But
scene in particular that I'm like, if there has to be a scene to be cut, it's this one. It's the poppy field, because they're running through it, and
oh,
then
that was
Dorothy is like, "I just feel sleepy," and Scarecrow's like, "Come on, y'all, get up!" Again, another scene where the Scarecrow's the only competent one because the Tin Man's sad because Dorothy, and I'm like, I want the Scarecrow to be like, "I'm sorry, are you crying because she's sleeping? She's not dead, fool.
I
just
think
we only got to wake her up."
we should just be honest to what the Tin Man was. He was depression. He was clinically depressed and
which
he needed Zoloft. He did not need a heart.
which which corresponding scene do you prefer? The Poppy scene in Wizard of Oz or the corresponding Poppy scene in The Wiz where they're in that like slide and then they get
Oh
drugged,
yeah.
basically?
They get drugged.
Isn't the Wiz is a little more fun, and then they go into the subway and with the evil trash can and pillars.
I at,
Oh my
at
god.
least like once every like 6 months, I show that scene to my coworkers.
My thing is that it's just because when they go to the poppy field, they fall asleep, and then they're like, "We need some help." And Glinda's form of help is, "I'll make it snow." I'm like, how in the hell is this supposed to help? But for some reason, it does.
It's
Because
because of the cold.
I guess it's cold, so
So
it wakes
they
them up.
It's
or
winter.
something?
It's considered so poppies are spring, and then winter comes, so it's a new cycle of life.
But it's magical poppies. It's not regular poppies.
It's supposed to be. I didn't know they
I
were
guess
magical
magical
poppies. I
poppies
assumed
are.
it was. Oh,
Oh,
Jerome
my
Oh,
camera
went
was
away. Where'd
unplugged
you go?
for some reason. I don't know how.
oh, we're gonna have to talk to Jerome as if he's the Wiz now.
The ghost.
I think the Wiz is more fitting. The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard.
I'll put a curtain over your thing so we can make it more official like that.
Right. Are you trying to fix
Which
it?
that's still my
I-
favorite. One of my favorites.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
go.
I was gonna say
What was
that
your
was still
favorite?
one. Nope, it's not gonna work. That's fine. It's I don't know what's going on, but that's fine.
I
It's
don't
like
have the
that's
tech
still one of my
issues
favorite
today. Hold on,
scenes.
hold on. I like to point out I'm not having the tech issue. I just like to point that out.
Listen, the night's still
Hey.
young. It can still happen.
Fair enough.
true.
Go on.
But anyway, no, the wizard, like that's still one of my favorite scenes is when the Wizard of Oz, the wizard is like, like Toto opens the curtain. He's like, "Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain." And I'm like, they weren't even looking in that direction. And now, now they're like, "Wait, what? Oh, holy shit, there is a curtain." He's like, no, don't. I said, don't look over there. Didn't I say don't look over there? Why y'all ain't listening? Y'all see this big head? Listen to me.
Which it was a cool effect what they did with the big head too. The projection they had for that.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, it must have been like also wild.
It's amazing what they could do back then. Like it's impressive to watch movies from that time period and before to see all of the practical things that they were able to do. Yeah.
I thought it was always hilarious that it was for him to do like the projection of his big head. He had what I always thought in my head was like a Dr. Seuss level of levers going on because he was like pulling this, pulling that. It's like, I feel like being as smart as you are, you would really only just need one lever projection and then some smoke ones or something.
Well, he's
But instead,
always
he's like
been.
moving.
I've always read it as he's not actually smart at all. He's just a really good con man. Like he's really good with words, and so he's just always been able. Because even the way he talks to to them when they're like, "Hey, you promised us a brain and a heart and courage and all that shit," and he's like, "Oh well, so check it out. So listen, Scarecrow, right? So you want brains, but listen, where I come from, there's a lot of people with brains, but they have like just like you, and you're a pretty smart guy, but you know what they have that you don't have? A diploma. So here's a diploma of THD, yeah, doctorate in thinkology." And I wanted the Scarecrow to be so bad, like, wait, you know what? I do have a brain, and you know what it's telling me? This is some bullshit. How dare you? That's not a real thing. I know that. Don't even sound real. Dorothy, let's go. Let's jump him. He gonna give us that heart one way or another.
I always think about the Family Guy episode real quick, where they're like doing a cutaway with meeting the Wizard of Oz. He's like, Tin Man, you've always wanted a heart. And he pulls out an actual heart. And Tin Man's like, I think I wanted like what represented a heart. And he's like, no, you said you wanted a heart. You did a whole song and dance about it. We bumped you up to the transplant list. There's a little kid in St. Louis that'll never have this. And here you go. And he opens up the like chest and he throws it in. And then he goes to the Scarecrow. And you said you wanted a brain.
I think of I think of the That's So Raven episode where she's like having a sick day and she's hallucinating and she dreams that she's like in the Wizard of Oz or something. And then she throws a bucket of water at, I think it's her teacher, who's the representative of the Wicked Witch, throws the bucket of water at him, and he's like, "This didn't do nothing. I'm still here." And then he throws the bucket of water back at her, and she's like, "Water on weave. I'm melting. I'm melting." And it was just it. It was.
I remember that she got she was faking a sick day, and then her dad gave her his like 5 alarm chili to help her sweat
Yep,
out like her
yep.
sickness, and that's what made
Mhm.
her hallucinate.
Yes. Yep. No,
Although
classic.
I that's another thing when the wizard's like, "Bring me the broomstick of the witch, but then I'll give you what you want," and they're like, But the only way to get the broomstick is to kill the witch," and he's like, "Okay, and I ain't stutter. Bring me that goddamn broomstick."
So like, also Glinda knows that the Wizard of Oz is fake. She knows this, so she's teaming up with this man to conspire against killing these witches. Like, I don't think the witches were like the evil people now, because
No,
like
Glinda be
Well,
they're
tripping.
well, at the beginning, she's like, are you a good witch or are you a bad witch? But in the end, I guess all the witches are bad.
yeah. It's
Because
just she
Glinda,
doesn't get her hands dirty. That's all.
no, because I'll tell you what it is. All right, Glinda is clearly like a professional criminal. Because after she saw Dorothy kill the Wicked Witch of the East with her house, she was like, "Oh, okay, I
She's
see.
gonna use her.
I got someone." Because why else would she not tell Dorothy from the very beginning that you
How
can
to get
go
home.
with the damn shoes that you just got all the way in Munchkin Land? I've been
She
here for
gotta.
days. I've
She's
been on a
been
Not
walking
only that, she lets her
these
get
these
kidnapped by the
these.
witch too.
Yep. These slippers is worn down by all this walking I've been doing.
Walking, skipping. There was also that reminds me because Wizard of Oz has been adapted through SNL, Mad TV, Family Guy, The Simpsons. Every show you can think of has had some adaptation of a scene from The Wizard of Oz. Even Sabrina the Teenage Witch, they did that whole Yellow Brick Road, but they also did the Poppy scene just in general in one of their episodes. But it reminds me of Mad TV. They did a skit where Linda's like, and you can just tap your shoes and go home. And she's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This whole time I could go home? And she's like, yeah, yes, but you had to believe in yourself. And she's like, no, that's bullshit. She's like, you made me run around this entire time, help this creepy old man, and I could just click my heels and go home.
Run
She's
into
like,
the lions.
I had to
yeah.
fight monkeys, bitch.
She got like kidnapped. Her and her dog got kidnapped.
With wings. Monkeys
And
with
at that
wings.
point, the witch is like, I'll send you home. Just give me the shoes. The witch offers her a better deal. Instead,
Come
she
in and
kills
size
her.
11s, and I'll let you go home.
Yeah. She
That's
doesn't
why.
even
That's
say
why
she's going to murder her friends or anything. She's just like, give me the shoes.
Well, it reminds me of that meme where someone's like, "Damn it! If I was the Wicked Witch, I'd be mad too. How you gonna kill my sister and steal her red bottoms?"
Yeah, exactly. But you know what though? The Wicked Witch of the West is one of those things where I'm like, girl, if you don't like go somewhere with these threats, because it's like here it is. She's got Dorothy dead to rights, and she's like, right, I can't take these slippers off without killing you. So here's what I'm like, and instead she just throws some fire at her or something, which she has the capability to do, or have her many guards or flying monkeys rip her apart. She's just like, I'll tell you what I'm fitting to do. I'm gonna lock you in this room and I'm gonna flip this hourglass over. And when this hourglass runs out, then I'm gonna kill you. And then she leaves the room.
She's giving Dorothy a chance. She's like, I wanted to be your choice. That's another thing. She could have literally had the flying monkeys be like, on your way here, just drop her, grab the shoes, and we're all good. And instead, she's like, I'm going to give you an hour to think. Is it really worth keeping the shoes? Is it really worth going on through all this?
See,
Work
but
with the Wizard of Oz.
here goes Dorothy, classic white woman. Instead of she start making plans and making moves while being kidnapped, her first thing she does, crawls to the corner and cries. Doesn't do shit. The kidnapper is not even in the room. And you're not even bound or nothing. You ain't tied up, nothing like that. Look for a weapon. Prepare yourself to attack when she comes back. Something. Get ready. And instead, she's just sitting there. Oh, what am I gonna do? I'm so frightened.
In all fairness, she is supposed to be 14. I will give her that. She is a child. She's a child, Jerome.
There are black children who have been kidnapped who were younger than that and able to escape their kidnapper. That's not an excuse.
I don't know
Tell
what
that
to say
to Diana
that.
Ross, who was about 35 when she played Dorothy. What was she?
What is it?
Well, no, that Wicked Witch, she wasn't playing around, all right? She's
No,
like,
she was
damn.
not.
That Wicked Witch was 10 times scarier.
Yeah,
She
she had plans. She had machinations. She had a whole factory of slave workers.
She was quickly turned into like Hansel Gretel witch territory, where she's like, "I'm just gonna eat you alive." Is what's gonna happen.
Yep.
Yeah, she started getting those type of threats and be like, all right, I'll give you a
She
okay.
ironed the scarecrow down.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
That was like surreal.
Tried to melt him. You know what I mean? Like
The Tin Man part didn't scare me, but when she ironed down the scarecrow, I was like, oh my god, it's like you had to unstuff him to iron him down too.
No, she ironed down the Tin Man and she sawed the Scarecrow in half.
That's
right. Was it? Okay.
Right. Yeah. And then I don't know if she did the line, but it don't matter. The fact is, she was making moves. She was out here. Her threats weren't idle. She meant that shit.
She was hanging the lion by his tail. So
oh my god, I don't remember that. I blocked it out apparently.
Because like
I'd rather have that than being cut in half or ironed.
She makes threats, but she don't really mean that. She's just like, nah, give me the slippers. Come on, y'all. I'm giving you every chance to just give me the slippers. The Wicked Witch and the Wiz is just like, damn all that. I'm finna take the slippers off your corpse. Come over here if you want to. I wish you would.
I mean, if you're gonna make a threat towards a child to steal their shoes, I feel like that's a pretty big step in general. You should just commit to it. I would think if you're gonna make the threat, just commit. Just commit.
Maybe she thought she was like an overgrown munchkin from Munchkin Land. That's why she was like, she didn't think she was a child. She's like, you're just tall.
Glinda really was the evil witch of the story. Because not only that, first we see her. One, the bubble thing is pretty cool, and I always wonder how they did that with the special effects. That was always a curious thing for me.
I think because I was looking at a little bit at the at how they did the tornado. And for the tornado, they use like a cloth.
Yeah, fabric. It's actually, they said it in here. It's I saw it earlier. I'll look for it while you talk.
So I'm assuming with the bubble, they just like blew up an actual bubble, and maybe like shined light on it or something.
Had it shimmering and then kind of okay. I can kind of see that, like it was a real bubble that they kind of had over an effect.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that the immediate thing she says to Dorothy is, "Are you a good witch or are you a bad witch? What's the difference?" Well, bad witches are quite ugly because they're so evil. It's like, I just met you and you're asking me this question. So what does that mean I look like to you? Like, what are you trying to say about me?
Right.
In other words, like not bad witches. So you better like, just so you know, before you answer, there's a right and a wrong answer. So you better pick the right one.
Also,
like, and I'm looking at you right now. So
yeah, I don't know if you're good with your, and you come dressed at me like a freaking frosting cupcake going on, all this frozen stuff. But yet you're holding
a big ass crown.
Yeah, you got a crown and like a wand or whatever that is, but you have no power to do anything. What good are you then? Coming here insulting me, throwing shoes on me, making me an enemy of this witch that I don't know what's going on, and then being like, oh yeah, so you're just gonna go down this direction. I can't do anything. I just came down in a bubble with my crown and wand. But clearly I have no powers whatsoever. So you're gonna go ahead and walk the mile up that road.
Muslin cloth. That's what it was. She used muslin cloth to make the tornado flexible.
Yeah, I can see that.
Arnold Gillespie is the film special effects director for this movie. He hung 35 feet of muslin from a steel gantry and connected the bottom to a rod. And by moving the gantry and rod, he was able to create the illusion of a tornado moving across the stage. So all that was captured in camera, actually, which is kind of cool.
Pretty cool.
I forgot what I was going to say.
How'd they do the bubble thing? Look that up.
Okay.
Because I feel like whoever. Whoever gets me the answer first, go. I'm gonna still rip on Glinda. Awful.
Okay.
And she's also watching everything happening as she's like trailing down this road. They get attacked by monkeys more than once. She's meeting this horrible lion who is risking their whole, mission. And only time when she's in peril where she's actually falling asleep because of the magical
Oh, it
poppies
was
that
just
she
a
intervened with snow.
double exposure shot,
Was that it?
which is just layering two images and combining them into the same shot. So basically, they did one image where they because it's a drawn bubble, and what they did is
Oh, really?
on
It's
the
drawn.
well, yeah, because it's like what they'll do is they'll take film and they'll paint or they'll hand draw something onto the film and like have it float because they've done the same thing for stuff like Star Wars and other movies. And then they'll basically film the scene like using a camera but using two reels of film. One reel of film they'll use and they'll do the effect. The other film will have Glinda just in where she's supposed to be, and then they'll mix the two when they cut the film together in the editing bay, because back then you would just manually cut the film and then like tape them together
Yeah.
and together, and that's how they did that effect. So double
And
exposure.
it says the bubble, the illusion of Glinda's bubble was created using a large transparent prop, possibly a giant glass or plastic dome. This would have been suspended on wires or rigging from above, with Glinda standing inside or near it. It was likely filmed in a way that the wire or rigging was out of frame or hidden by other elements in the shot. And then it says on the set, they would have used a mixture of miniatures and full size props, along with practical effects like smoke or fog to enhance the mystical nature of the bubble. The bubble's glow and general magical feel could have been achieved. Why can't I get any like actual answers? Could have been achieved through the use of light gels, practical glowing elements, or perhaps even reflective surfaces on the set that interacted with light.
Yep. Yeah, they definitely use a lot of miniatures for this movie because even the house, the like spinning house and stuff, is a min. I could tell that was a miniature that they were spinning around, which was a great effect for the time, and it looks flawless. It looks really good,
Hmm.
even for the compared to movies today. The music in this is also very timeless. It's
Yeah.
very good. A lot of the singing just is really, really rich. The only song I don't like, and I feel like I'm like, we didn't need this, is King of the Forest. I don't
But he
because
had
it's
to
just
have that song
He
I get
needed
it.
his song,
because
yeah.
all of it, yeah. But yeah, I get it.
Also,
It's
what was
just
the lion doing in the forest? Although, what was flying monkeys doing over there? So never mind. I
I
withdraw
mean,
my
yeah, the
question.
Wizard of Oz world, you can't ask these questions, okay? There's like none of it makes sense. It's just it just is what it is.
It's me. I asked far too many questions about child movies.
I'm saying like, where did the Tin Man even come from? There's no other robots around.
He's not a robot.
He's a robot. All
He's
right.
not a robot.
He doesn't have any internal organs. He's all
He
mechanic.
doesn't have any clockwork or anything in there, too. I don't know what he has in
You
there.
don't know that. You think, all right, he might have
Well,
it.
okay, so coming from someone who dressed as the Tin Man in his childhood for 2 years in a row, uh that he I in my official costume that is obviously based off of the official version of the Tin Man costume. I had a clock prop. I was pretty much Flavor Flav, Tin Man version that hung around my neck. I need to find a picture
Listen,
as a kid.
you know why I think he's a robot? Because when he did that move where the steam came out of his little cap,
Ah,
where'd the steam come
the
from?
Tin Man is a former woodsman who was turned into a living statue made of tin. That's it. He was just a living statue. He's not a robot. He's a statue. There's a difference.
Did they have robots back
Is this
then?
is this the
No.
Wizard of
No.
Oz
Yeah.
canon or is this Wicked canon?
No, it's L. Frank Baum. That was his from
Okay,
his actual story.
okay.
He
Because I'm
was
about
a
to say Wicked
woodsman.
canon is like where it gets really weird with the Tin Man.
Oh, Lost
uh,
in Oz. It was a book. The Tin Man was originally a munchkin named Nick Chopper. His father was a woodsman who chopped down trees, and when Nick grew up to become a woodsman as well. I'm not going to read any more details into that. But he was a former Munchkin too.
Um, the kind of like the last thing I wanted to talk about was one of the big major, you know, aspects of this movie is the transition from black and white to Technicolor, which was
Well,
significant
technically
back
it's
then because
sepia, because I always said black
tech,
and white, but it
well,
is
tech.
true, like sepia tone or sepia process is the
You think they
official.
was using words like sepia back then?
Yes, because that was an official process back then. Was
They
sepia
didn't
versus
use
black and
that when they
white.
were marketing, though. They said black
No,
and
not
white to
marketing
Technicolor.
wise, probably.
Then
Well,
what fucking
marketing
is it
wise,
in
they wouldn't have.
universe?
They said anything. They would have just been like, "Hey, Technicolor, we're using it," because there was a new thing around that
You
time.
think audience would have known what sepia was?
From
Yeah,
sepia to Technicolor. That
Right.
has a ring to it. Come on now.
maybe. I don't know. And actually, no, I'm looking at a poster right now from a lobby card. It says, yeah, Technicolor Triumph. They don't mention the sepia at all because it's not important.
Well, no, we're saying that they
Right.
would call
No,
it black and white, not sepia.
yeah. I wasn't
I'm just
arguing the Technicolor. You said
No,
sepia.
I'm saying like if we're being technical, it is we always consider it black and white, but it is actually just for for some film history, it is actually a sepia tone process, which is something slightly different, like a slightly different process of how they make the film and how they make it look the way it looks compared to the normal black and white processing at that time, as far as like black and white film is what I'm saying.
Okay, from sepia to Technicolor. um, it Technicolor was a relatively, new process, and it didn't really have like a mainstream moment until this, and it's always going to be marked in history as, this is the transition to color, using color in film. Um, and just to be like, if I could, I wouldn't go back to the 1930s for much, but if I had to, I would go back and watch The Wizard of Oz in theaters with the full audience. I'd probably be sitting in the back, but I would want to know what it was like to feel that transition from sepia to Technicolor
I mean, in all fairness, Jonathan, you probably wouldn't be sitting in the back. You probably would not be allowed in the
in the
theater at
theaters.
all,
True, in the theaters.
except for
I
certain nights.
I'd
That's
or
true.
I'd
Yeah,
have to go to I'd have to go to a colored only theater, which, hey, I'm
that's
around my
true.
people, so
Yeah, you don't have to. You get to sit in the front row if you like. Although I
right.
feel like that's still too much. But you'll get to see it from sepia to Technicolor. That would be an interesting transition. I would have loved to see that. A lot of movies back in the 1920s and 30s era, they were getting so much more quote unquote advanced with their CGI and stuff. Like the movie Birds with Alfred Hitchcock, was starting to show that effect of using, the fake birds mixing with the live birds and how well they blended things together and how sometimes they actually just threw stuffed seagulls at people, but you were just so entranced you didn't notice. Now it's like I watch movies nowadays and I'll go watch that movie again and be like, yeah, that was a toy seagull they just threw at that man. I
Yeah,
don't think
this is
somebody liked them. They're just
so they did say the one thing about like the Technicolor thing, at least on the Wikipedia article, it says all the Oz sequences were filmed in 3-strip Technicolor, while the opening, closing credits, and Kansas sequences were filmed in black and white and colored in a sepia tone process. Sepia tone film was used in the scene where Aunt M was also used in the scene where Aunt M appears in the Wicked Witch's crystal ball. And the film was not the first to use Technicolor, which was introduced in The Gulf Between from 1917 as a 2-color additive process, nor the first to use the 3-color subtractive Technicolor process 4, which made its live action debut during a sequence in The Cat and the Fiddle. So, but I wonder if this was the first one to really do like a mix of the two. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I guess they're saying these two movies, us like had a mix of the two. I don't know. It's different, but
hmm.
either way, like it's still like iconic for its use, and I think its strategic use of color, and that like the Technicolor scenes are when we're in this magical world of Oz versus the regular like sepia parts of the movie are when it's the real world, which is really cool and interesting. Also, this is just like we don't have to talk about this much. This is just something I didn't know. I didn't know because it's been a while since I watched The Wizard of Oz. I haven't watched it since I was a kid. I didn't realize that the actors from the
At the
from the
beginning.
regular
Oh,
world in the
really?
beginning are the people in the Wizard. I thought they were. I always thought they were like different actors.
Really?
No,
And then like the
well, that's because they reference there are so many references from their life and story that get referenced in
yeah,
like
like how the dude
Oz.
who's the cowardly lion is actually scary and like he's very cowardly in real life.
Yeah.
Mhm,
And the scarecrow is really smart. Um
mhm.
and things like that. I
And
the
the Wicked Witch is
yeah,
what's her name? The lady who tries to kill the dog.
yeah, Miss Gulch.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, which there's those are some of the most iconic lines of like the it still has some of the most like the I'll get you my like my pretty and your little
Little
dog
dog.
too.
Ooh.
And the now I know I
What?
have a heart because it's breaking. And it's just like it's just so many great iconic lines from this movie that are also timeless.
What
Mhm.
is the one
And
line from The Wizard of Oz that people misquote all the time, but um it was never actually said in the movie? Hold on, misquoted.
oh, the is it the Kansas line?
Oh, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, Toto. Toto? Toto?
But
Toto.
she
Yeah,
said
totally.
something she says something
She said,
similar. What is
yeah,
Oh, Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. The actual line is Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. Which I feel like is
that's like
close enough.
semantics, yeah.
Yeah, that's like
yeah.
splitting hairs. Really quick, if you were a Wizard of Oz character, which one would you be?
I think I already said mine.
You have connected with the Tin Man properly. I feel that.
The wizard, because I feel like I just want to chill. I don't want to deal with any of this bullshit. I want to be in charge, and I want people to just be like, yeah, I mean, the wizard, he's all powerful and stuff. What does he do? I mean, I don't know. He just is powerful. Why are you asking all these questions?
I like to think I'd be the Scarecrow, because I do stupid stuff, but I'm actually smarter than I behave. However, I fear I am like Glinda because I am a agent of chaos, and I like to just stir shit up sometimes because I get
How
bored.
about let's be real. We all know that at the end of the movie, when the wizard's like, "Oh man," like after he's done giving these bullshit gifts to the wizard, to the scarecrow and the Tin Man and the lion, which he knows is not real because he's just the world's greatest con man. And he's like, "Oh well, Dorothy, I'm from Kansas, my damn self. I'm gonna just take you to up in my balloon," and then like I'm like he intentionally asked that woman to bring her cat because he knew that Toto would run out that basket so that Dorothy would get out the basket. And then here he goes. He's like, "Oh no, the ropes are coming loose and the balloon's flying." And she's like, "No, bring the balloon back down." He's like, "I don't know how. I don't know what to do. Oh no, bye,
Yeah, I'll never
Dorothy." And I'm
land in
like,
Kansas.
he's just like, "Whew, that was a close one. Had to think fast on feet on that one." Because I'm like, this woman, there have been no cats in Oz up until this point
In all
at
fairness, there
all.
hasn't been any dogs either.
Exactly. Where did this cat come from? I'll tell you where, because the wizard had plans. He had machinations. He knew. I got to get out of this situation because there is no way I'm taking her ass to Kansas. I don't know how to get there. Like, she's going to find me out too quick. All right. The rest of them are stupid enough to believe that bullshit I just spun 5 seconds ago. She ain't going to believe that. Nope. I got to come up with some other plan. Gotta get the hell up out of here.
So Jerome would be the wizard.
I
He already
definitely.
thinks like him.
I I'd be the Tin Man.
Here's
And
here's here's a question.
I like his
Oh,
style too. I like the Tin Man style.
he does
Yeah.
have. He had that bow tie, man.
we did.
Mhm.
I just know I'd be Glinda because I'd be watching things and just starting shit. I do that at the office all the time. I'll leave, like, people are talking and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't know if I did that right," and I'll be like, "You didn't do it right." I don't even know what they're talking about, but I'll just be. I actually earlier today I said I'm like Jiminy Cricket. I'm always on your shoulder. I don't have the same moral value as Jiminy Cricket. It's more of a I'm just telling you to do shit type of style. I think I'm the actually that would be the opposite of Jiminy Cricket. He's usually telling you not to do something.
He's very helpful, yes.
Yeah, I am not. So I'd probably be Glinda. I'd like to be the Scarecrow, but I know who I am.
Now here's a question. We do this almost all our retro reviews, but I think this is an apt one because there have been many different adaptations and spin-offs and sequels to The Wizard of Oz. Return to Oz. Oz is Great and Powerful. We're about to get a movie version of Wicked, but of course, there's the musical Wicked. Do you think they could ever do a true blue remake of just The Wizard of Oz, like straight Dorothy's tale of going to the Oz for the first time, doing the Wizard of Oz? Because they've never done it. They've always done stuff around Oz with other characters,
or like a cartoon version.
Yeah, or like cartoons, or for the Japanese version. I've seen the Japanese cartoon of the Wizard of Oz. It's insane.
You know what I just saw? And Mad TV also did a skit where they had they're like, oh, the earlier tapings of the Wizard of Oz had one where they had one with a runaway slave. Ari Spears did that.
But yeah, do you think they could do a remake of Wizard of Oz? And if they did, who do you think they would cast in some of the roles? You don't have to do all of them because there's a lot of characters, but just like some of the people.
I don't think they could, simply just because they did that color shift, and that was what made the Wizard of Oz so magical. It was showing that, like, I always step from this, like, the tipo, whatever Sanipa? What is it? The word again? Sepia, thank you. The sepia world, and jumped into this whole new Technicolor world. That was the beauty of Wizard of Oz, the beautiful Emerald City. Now it's just like we can see what they're going to present as the Emerald City in Wicked, and it's never going to have that same magical feeling again, I think you could definitely make the Wizard of Oz again, as they have made the remake multiple times in different, different fonts, but I don't think they can ever make anything close to the original.
Yeah, I agree. Especially because the original is so beloved and like well known, and like you mentioned, it helped shape film history. I was thinking, like, at first I was like, maybe they could, because if you think about it, like Cinderella has had 8 million adaptations, but it's for the most iconic one, the Disney cartoon version, is a cartoon. And since then, they've made like live action versions. No one's really tried to make a straight up animated remake of Cinderella that is strictly just Cinderella. They haven't really done that. People have made live action versions, but that's why, yeah, I don't think they could make a straight up live action version. Well, they could, and somebody probably will try to, but I don't think it'll be successful.
I think it'll be, if they did do it. Excuse me. Now you're yawning. If they did do it, it would have to be like, it probably wouldn't be anytime soon, because it's like the original is just so timeless, and not just his presentation, but also the people in it. Like Judy Garland, despite the hell that she went through to make this movie did make her an icon, because of how iconic the character is, and the movie is in general. And so it's a thing. It's kind of like the equivalent of what happened with Judi Dench with Mary Poppins. Like after that movie, I mean, really Sound of Music, really, but after Mary Poppins, it was solidified. Judi Dench was like,
do you mean
no, yeah.
What's her name?
Oh my God, Sound of Music, Mary. Sound of Music.
Is it Judi Dench?
Julie Andrews.
Julie Andrews.
Is it Julie Andrews? Have I gotten her name wrong this entire time?
Julie Andrews is
I'm
Mary
sorry,
Poppins.
Julie Andrews.
Yeah.
Why am I thinking of Judi Dench?
Julie Andrews, I forgot what she was. Oh, she was supposed to be in My Fair Lady because she was in the play version, I believe. But they decided to go with the other actress, and so she did Mary Poppins. And at her award speech, she's like, "I'd like to, thank them for not choosing me to be My Fair Lady." She's like, "Because it won me this award." Julie Andrews
You're
is
right.
savage.
I'm
What
sorry.
you
That's my bad.
She's like,
Julie
she's
Andrews.
like, "You're absolutely right. I should not have been My Fair Lady. I'm so happy that I got settled with Mary Poppins and winning this Oscar."
Judi Dench is like, I'll take the credit. I wasn't Mary Poppins, but I'll take
I mean,
it.
I'm sure she will. But
But sorry. Side note: do you know it's so sad the story of why Judy? No, you got me saying it. Of why Julie Andrews stopped singing.
No, why?
She got because she can't sing anymore because she got vocal cord surgery for like lymph nodes.
yeah,
And
that's what
and it was
happens.
and it was a botched surgery. Like the surgeon did a horrible job. So that's why she lost her voice.
Yeah, man. Julie Andrews is a legend. She's so great. Still acting, still doing
Mhm.
stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely fantastic actress.
But it's the same thing. Like where I'm like, I'm like, it's one of those things where I think it's hard to do straight Wizard of Oz again unless you have like some way to revolutionize again. Like, I don't know if there was like, if like it was like a holographic movie or something, like you could be in the movie with Dorothy and go on the adventure on the yellow brick road. Like, that's the only way I feel like they would ever get to a point where they're like, yeah, you can, we're going to remake Wizard of Oz in a new format with new technology. Because otherwise, because like, I mean, we see in the Wicked trailer, the most recent movie of Wicked that's coming out, you see like what I'm assuming is the last shot of the movie is Dorothy, the
With
Tin
Dorothy.
Man, yeah,
Mhm.
like all of them on the Yellow Brick Road on the way to Oz. So I'm like,
But we
okay,
also have to
like,
remember this is a part one. So there's gonna be a part two next year.
but in part two, even in act, because part two would be act two of the play, which is the like all the stuff that's happening, which is supposed to happen at the same time as the Wizard of Oz, and even then, Dorothy's not around. Just the
Yeah.
others, the Scarecrow, the Lion, the Tin Man, because they were characters in the first act as different people, and they got turned into these creatures. Well, except the Lion. The Lion's just a scared lion who I guess at some point learns how to talk or something. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But the point is that they were their characters in the play. Dorothy doesn't really exist in the play. So I don't think they'll cast Dorothy unless they really want to do something different and have Dorothy show up, which would be really weird. Because I'm like, she doesn't have any speaking lines. So I don't know what you want her to do.
Yeah, because they clearly in the trailer, I remember they clearly showed like the backs of it was like
Yeah.
the
Yeah, for
lion,
everybody.
Dorothy, the Scarecrow, and Tin Man.
Yeah. I mean, hey, at least the nice thing is, unlike back during the time when this movie was made, they'll cast somebody who's Dorothy's age, hopefully. You
Hopefully.
know, they might go the Netflix route and be like, "Are you 30? You could play a teenager. Come on out.
Closest to it.
Yeah.
You're close enough."
But
Well, yeah,
But
that's the Wizard of
that's
Oz.
our like, I don't even know if it's really a review of Wizard of Oz, more just us discussing Wizard of Oz, and our also breakdown of the sexiest man alive.
Wait,
Uh,
wait, 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 wait. It's probably out by
I am
now. Wait,
actually
don't.
trying to find it. That's what I was trying to do right now.
Okay, wait. Okay, wait. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
But here's the problem. It was supposed to be announced on Stephen Colbert.
Right.
So, but it's on his episode that's playing right now?
I guess so, but I don't know. Do I have to go on
Is it
Twitter?
is it on Paramount? You probably Twitter.
Okay, let's see. Let's see.
Because I can get Stephen
Oh yeah,
Colbert.
Sky Jackson announced she was pregnant.
Sky Jackson is. For a media podcast, my ass does not know who a lot of celebrities are, and that's bad. I should really learn.
I found it. It's nobody who we mentioned.
Who is it?
It's John Krasinski.
Really?
Really?
Yep, here.
That
really
weird.
Wow, that was the most anticlimactic. I've never ever in my life waited for a People's Sexiest Man Alive.
Yeah,
ever in my life.
Well, here's the thing. Why didn't you just go to the People Magazine website?
I was on the People Magazine website. It didn't have
it. They just put it on there. It's on there now.
Oh, it's on there now?
Right
I
there.
was literally...
There it is.
Oh, I had...
That's kind of random.
Oh, they did it at 9. They did it at 9 p.m. I was refreshing it for that countdown.
Oh, I see. I just don't like the close up on his face. I don't like that.
That's
Stop.
very
Stop
I don't like any of it. As I said, this is the first time I've ever waited for the Sexiest Man Alive thing from people, and that was
go away, Twisters.
So disappointing because Glenn Powell's I should have won.
Ooh, I still haven't seen Twisters. I need to watch it this weekend.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, the Glenn Powell is the one who summoned the ad. Man, fuck all that. Watch my movie, and y'all could have seen that I should have won this shit. Y'all should have seen me in the rain with my shirt, with my damn muscles.
That's what I said. Find an attractive male lead, put him in a white shirt, and then dunk him. Dunk him in some water. Get him wet or something. They did that in Anybody But You, and they did him to that in this movie Twisters too. Just attractive male lead.
Well, now their house is gonna be weird because it says Emily Blunt said she'd wallpaper the house with the cover if he got it. It won't be weird at all, he says.
Half of the comments under this Twitter post are happy. Half of them are well, one says, well, he sure is a man that's alive. I'll give him that.
I think
125 men alive too. There you go. The men we love. There you go, Alex. There's your number.
125.
125. That's the number for this year.
The only 125. They're lucky, Jonathan. We're one of the 125 that are alive. It's great.
The thing
that's kind of random. He didn't really do much this year.
He was in If, remember?
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
He made the movie If, didn't he?
He's in the movie too.
He's not a main part of it, apparently. I never saw him in any of the trailers or stuff. It was always
he's a voice. He's one of the voices of one of the.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, he's in the movie. You're right, Jerome. He should have been named Sexiest Man Alive in his big role in If.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He's appealing to the kids.
That's not the people who should be
fixing the If
is
exactly why he needs to be in it, all right? I mean...
No. I think the problem is respectfully the people picking.
Well, wait, no, he's not one of the voices. He's the dad character in If. That's right. His face is in it and everything. He's the dad.
So he's the father that allows his child to go off with a random man to hunt imaginary creatures.
To be fair, he's dying. Okay, he's in the hospital.
Okay, and you can't find a good guardian to watch child? Just that doesn't make it better. You're still allowing your child to go off with a random man who says, I can see imaginal creatures and I'm gonna help them find homes.
I had before this
he was Jack Ryan. He's been Jack Ryan for years. He's been the handsome Jack Ryan, the man Jack Ryan with his beard and his badass muscles and badassity. You know what I mean?
Glenn Powell
that's what
or
it is. That's
Alan Rickman. Alan Richardson.
I'm about to say Alan Rickman. He's dead. First of all, he's dead. Secondly,
you know what I meant. Alan Richardson or Glenn Powell or literally anybody, any other white man they would have to pick.
You took Henry Cavill?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Henry Cavill's due.
Before
Cavill's going to be a straight up daddy now. He's got a kid coming on the way. The jokes write themselves there.
Before this podcast,
I mean, look at him with this taxi. Look at him.
Before this podcast episode, I really had no care in the world. I felt no way about the sexiest man alive, and now I'm disappointed.
Same. Never in my life have I been like, oh, sexiest man. I didn't know who any of them were. Now it's like, okay, let's see. John Krasinski. Okay.
Hey, listen.
And
it's
that
like
the license plate says "Hey Taxi." What does that mean?
They went for another Paul Rudd pick. All right, they picked a man that people like, that people enjoy, because people like John Krasinski. They like him he's a nice guy. He's like, he's always been a pretty nice dude, and he's like, he's not like the most sexiest dude, but I'm sure there's a lot of ladies who are like, I like him.
I feel like the people who are in charge of it need to let a new generation start picking.
No, because all they'll ever pick is like a whack ass dude.
The white boy of the month.
You know what I mean? Troye Sivan would win every goddamn cover.
That's Harry Styles.
Oh,
but that's at least like a current person.
The guy everybody's talking about from the Menendez Brothers show.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I don't want anybody who watch true crime documentaries. They get a little weird there. You know what? I'd even give it up for the guy I hate from The Bear. Even he is more like
Jeremy Allen White.
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like his
Why
face.
do you not like him? He's good.
I just don't like him.
Seems like a nice dude.
No, I think he's actually a very fantastic actor. I've seen clips of him in The Bear. He's very passionate. He does his characters very well. I just don't like him. I just don't like him as a human being, I guess. I don't know. But like even him, he had that big Calvin Klein modeling thing.
He got bulked up for the Iron Claw. So a lot of people were like, man, he looks great. He's in fantastic shape.
Like Iron Claw was a big deal too, because not only did women want to see it, but men also, want to see it. Everybody became emotional over it. He has The Bear, which has become one of the biggest shows, in recent TV right now. He's did the Calvin Klein spread, which like people have been literally drooling over for months. Even him would have been a more apt choice than John Krasinski.
She gave it to Tony Todd. In Jerome, Tony Todd got the cover.
Alex Jerome, when y'all are naming this episode, name it People's Sexiest Man Alive. Forget the Wizard of Oz.
Honestly, I just might take out the Wizard of Oz conversation and just put it into a different video. I'm so upset. That was so disappointing. This is the first time in my life I've ever waited for the Sexiest Man Alive, and that's what I got.
Listen, I get how you're feeling.
The silence when I said Josh.
It's because he's the pick you wouldn't think. Like nobody was thinking out of all the names. Out of all the names of people this year that could have gotten the cover, John Krasinski wasn't even on the list. You know what I'm saying? Hell, goddamn, Tom Hardy was on the list, and he was low on the list compared to like Alan Richardson, Henry Cavill, what's his name from who's Jon Stewart, Green Lantern upcoming. He was in Rebel Ridge. He looks good. Yeah, that dude could have won it. You know what I mean? Like he because he did Rebel Ridge this year.
Even Harry Styles, I don't think he's attractive, but he has a huge fan base that would, say otherwise.
Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds could have got it again this year for Deadpool and Wolverine. Ryan Reynolds still looks good.
Like a double. That would have been cool. Like
that would have been great. Or Hugh Jackman. Did you see Hugh Jackman in Deadpool Wolverine when that goddamn Wolverine suit busts off and he shows the muscles? That man is too old to be looking that damn good.
Yeah, I had that song playing on repeat. There's so many options just within this year alone. And he was the dying dad in If. They pulled it. That's why I was like, I think they need somebody younger, because then they did that with Patrick Dempsey last year, where everybody's like, oh my God, here's all these celebrities. Patrick Dempsey. Okay, he was in Thanksgiving.
I thought for sure Glenn Powell though was probably the number one contender.
He must have said no or something.
Maybe, because that's true. You also have to agree to do the cover.
Photo shoot,
do the photo shoot and everything.
Or maybe
So
he
maybe
was
he was
busy. I
busy.
don't know. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I'm looking at like a list
'Cause
of
that's the
movies that came
obvious
out this
choice.
year, like of all the big people, like who made like a big splash and like things they've been in. Because Glenn Powell's been on a roll this year between his rom com with Sydney Sweeney, Hitman, Twisters. I think he has another movie coming out this same year too, right? Doesn't he have another thing that he's doing this year?
And he's
Oh,
been a
yeah,
proper
Chad what's it called? Chad something on Disney
Oh,
Plus? It's like a
that comes
Turkish.
out next year.
yeah.
I just
Okay.
saw a trailer for that actually. It comes out next
Which
year.
I thought it was because the show Scream Queens, he was on that show, and his character's name is
Yeah.
Chad. I thought that was like a spin-off of it or something, but no, it has nothing to do with it.
He has had credible work where he's actually very funny and very consistent in his acting, throughout these years. And people have recently been like, oh, he's like just started up. No, he's been acting for a very long time now. And he's funny. He's good. He plays that dumb, attractive guy perfectly in the movies, but then he also plays like an intelligent character later on. And it's, you don't believe, oh, he's just attractive playing intelligent. The character is intelligent. I think if anything, Glenn Powell was robbed.
Yeah, hell, they should have given it to Colin Farrell as the Penguin, just in Penguin makeup. Just like Colin Farrell.
Honestly, he has more facial recognition like that than John Krasinski right now.
You know what? You know what I think
I
they
mean,
do? Sometimes I think they do this on purpose, like they choose somebody they know is going to be controversial just so they can get people talking about it and they get more engagement and more impressions.
Mostly, I feel like they get more people like, "Ew, we don't really trust your decision now," because everybody already flipped over Benny
Blake
Blanco.
Shelton.
No,
Oh,
Benny Blanco.
yeah.
Just from their 125 list, everybody was like freaking out, being like, "Oh yeah, the guys from New Girl are great." Yeah, uh, Lamar Morris. Is his last name Moore or Morris?
Oh, Lamorne Morris.
Lamar Morris. He, just won his Emmy, so he's doing fantastic. So, he's doing amazing. He deserves to be on that list. He is a funny. He plays funny characters. He was in Saturday Night Live. He's won an Emmy. He's like very prominent, and the humor is attractive.
wow, they
And then you have Benny
just
Blanco, who's like,
updated.
yeah,
Sorry, they just
no
updated
good.
the same list we were looking at, like at the beginning of this podcast. They just updated it with his picture. He has two covers, by the way. There's the other
Oh,
cover.
well, you have rugged and sexy, and then of course you got to put them in like the cardigan looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
I, I
Just
I
updated
think I
the same
prefer
list
the
we just saw.
Oh yeah, the taxi one. I hate the other
I
one.
I think I prefer the picture on. I think I prefer the taxi one
Yeah,
because because
which one?
Oh
This
yeah.
one?
yeah, because he's trying too hard in the other one. I feel like he
Yeah,
doesn't.
this
We
one
don't
is. It
normally
doesn't even
see
look
him
like
like that.
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
this looks more like him. This
That
looks
other
more
one
his
also
element.
looks like with the print makes it look like, look, we're daring. It's kind of got like
right.
wannabe 80s vibe to it. Look,
This
like
looks
he's
like
pretty
a
painted
wanted
now.
poster. Sexiest man alive. Bring him.
No award given.
No award given. Just bring
I
him.
don't
I don't care how
I
you
don't
get
care
him.
about
Just
award. I
even his
don't think
hands
I've
are even behind
ever
his back, like he got captured.
I don't think I've ever even read a People magazine outside of a doctor's waiting office, but I am salty as shit about this.
I mean, I do like the new font. The new, like, it's very rugged. It's
That
cool.
no, that only works when you have like the city style life behind it. When it's just on a plain white background, it looks stupid.
No, that's true. This it only works on this background. It doesn't work on this cover of like especially because the X being like bigger. This is just like uglies all over again. Where we were like, yeah, his name's Zane. You know what I mean? It's extreme. Is here it is. It's like
Please,
it's sex because the S and the X are bigger than everything else in the word sexiest because it's
this
sex. Like, it's
reminds
like,
me of
geez,
like
Louise.
back when you were like when MySpace was a big deal, and you know how like every vowel was capitalized in the word, or how every like SXT was capitalized, but none of the vowels were capitalized. It gives that shit when it looks just like on this normal white background. That's what it feels like.
Hey, listen, at least he could say he got his cover. You know what I mean? There's some people in here who's got multiple covers. They should have lost their covers, all right? I feel like those people, like Brad, it's mostly Brad, is it what, Brad Pitt and Johnny Depp who've gotten it like multiple times? And George Clooney?
George Clooney, yeah.
Let's see. Johnny Depp's gotten multiple. They should have taken it from George. Johnny Depp didn't need to have two.
They had to. They got it multiple
Richard
times.
Gere technically has two.
They were prominent. They were prominent in what they were doing in their careers at the moment. So they were at the front, and people were like, "Oh my God, he's so sexy because he's the leading man." It's not the leading man. That's why they got it multiple times.
Yeah.
Krasinski's an old person's pick.
I don't know, man. That's the pick of this year. John Krasinski takes it away. I mean, I like John Krasinski. I think he's a really cool guy. I feel like John Krasinski
he's your mom's pick. He's your mom's pick.
Well, I mean, heck,
me trying to be like your mom. No, that's like your mom's
crush is the hashtag they put on this. So it's like clearly that's what they're trying to go for is the office type.
That's your mom's pick. That's your mom be like, "Oh, I just watched that newest movie. Did you hear? It's called The Quiet Place. Have you ever heard of that, sweetie? Oh, it's got the most handsomest young man."
And the Quiet Place movie that came out this year, he wasn't even in.
He wasn't even in the last one.
Well, no, he was in the last one in that first opening. That's supposed to be what they were experiencing on day one. You know what I mean? So he's in it. He's in it for all like I don't know, like 15 minutes.
This is stupid, and I'm done. I'm so salty about a magazine I never even read or support.
Sexiest Man Alive.
Yeah.
Comment below, audience. Tell us what you think. Do you agree? And also, have you seen Wizard of Oz?
You can just skip the
very different things.
What do you mean? They go together like peanut butter and jelly. What you mean, Jonathan? All right. Sexiest Man Alive cover from People Magazine and Wizard of Oz from 1939. And they even belong in the same sentence together.
I mean, that Scarecrow, I'm sure, was a lot of people's crushes when they first started off.
Jack Haley, are you kidding me? That's a handsome man.
Was People Magazine around in 1939? Let's see. It probably was not. I feel like it came about in like the 80s or 90s.
People Magazine, the history of people.
74.
1974, first issue date.
Oh, this is their 50th anniversary. Wow. Okay.
50th anniversary, they give it to John Krasinski for Sexiest Man Alive.
Wow. I'm more sad now for them.
So comment below, audience. Tell us what you thought of The Wizard of Oz. And if you got time, also about the Sexiest Man Alive cover. Did you agree with it? Do you think people is tripping? Did you want Glenn Powell? Comment
anybody.
But as we always do with every podcast episode, socials. Jonathan, where can people find you?
You can find me at Jonathan Keys on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you please. You can find us at The First Ones to Die. You can email us thefirstones2die@gmail.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a like and subscribe. Also comment below. Alex, where can people find you?
Real quick, even K. Hu Juan from Everything, Everywhere, All at Once would have been a better choice. That's all I'm saying. He's adorable as fuck. Right? You can find me at Alex and Nobody on Instagram and on TikTok, as well as the podcast TikTok, The First Ones to Die, where I show little clips of episodes we have done, things we may be reviewing, or just little commentary on movies I am watching myself. What about you, Jerome? Where are we finding you?
You can find me at Not Jerome Red on Instagram, and go on over to the YouTube channel and check out all types of stuff that you can't get. First of all, this episode alone has been such a fun time with the visuals of us looking at all the covers and everything. So if you want to see what we were seeing, you're going to have to go on over to the YouTube channel if you're only listening on the audio version of the podcast. But don't just go over there for that. You know, of course, there's all video versions of all our podcasts, but there's other things like gaming videos, book reviews, mini reviews. In fact, I just put up the most recent part of our Monster Camp playthrough. Last part is coming out soon, so come check that out if you get a chance. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be all types of stuff for you to check out on the YouTube channel. And if you are watching on the YouTube channel, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, favorite, share, all the things. You know the rundown. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new stuff coming out, because you're not gonna want to miss all this podcast goodness. So subscribe.
That's right.
Tune in next week for the Thanksgiving special 2024 edition. It's going to be a fun time. We may have special guests. We may have food on the table. I don't know. Well, not literally, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's going to be a great until old time, as it always is. But until then, have a good night, good morning, good evening, whenever you're listening to this. And we will catch you for the next one. Bye.
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 So I did. But I also want to make sure we were supposed to watch Wizard of Oz, right?
Yes.
Okay. Very tired this past weekend. And I know I made the suggestion, but also
To say, I don't know how you could miss. You're the one that suggested Wizard of Oz.
Go on over to the YouTube channel at The First Ones to Die to see all the fun stuff we got going on here, like mini reviews, book reviews, gaming videos, vlogs, all types of stuff.
Please follow us at The First Ones to Die everywhere. Go ahead and give us a like and subscribe.